And it's day one and you walking in there on the first day, man, you in there, man. But you feel something. It's right in here, man. And it's screaming and it's yelling and it's saying, release me. And it's saying, I am the number one determinant of the success or failure of my students. Hey, y'all, when you get back, kick some butt, and I'll see you in the winner's circle celebrating your victory. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! You got this! You got this! You got this! Thank everybody.
And we are live. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to week 210, the 4th anniversary of the AP and New Principals Academy. Let me see who we got checking in this morning already. We got Sharon Wright in the building. She said, greetings to myself and the Queen. Mona Obamolak is in the building. She said the same. We got AP, Patrick Lawrence, in the building out there in Connecticut. I should say Mona's in Orlando and Sharon is in BK, Brooklyn. We got Takesha High in Virginia, Dr. Rella Hicks down in Augusta, Dr. Rachel Edoweckett is in the building. We got Grace Castaneda in Kyle, Texas. I should say Rachel Edoweckett is in Maryland. We got Rodney Richardson, Hampton, Virginia. Ray Lenz, where's Ray at? He said, congrats to the Queen and myself on 4 years. There we go. I appreciate you. Ricardo Yanis is in the building down there in Texas, my man. We got where we at. Constance Sherrod is in Mississippi. Tashika Truesdale is in Atlanta. L. Jones Pratt, good morning to you. Where we at? John Herricks, good morning. Principal Otis Kitchen II, good morning to you. AP Yolanda McKinney, good morning on this special day. Ronald Pugh down in Texas. Vanessa Zeskind is in Connecticut. Melissa Jones Chuno is in Tulsa. Good morning to you. I got to reach out to you, see how you're feeling these days too. We got Scott Wiley in the building. Chester VA with the fire emojis. And we got where we at? Principal Dot McKeever Jeter and Calumet, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, City, Illinois. We got Dr. Sheikah Houston in the building. She just finished 1030 Create and Educate with Dr. Tammy Taylor. She said, happy anniversary. Y'all know I got a couple things going on right now, right? Carol Blanchard, we'll get into all of it. MPA Jaguar, Buenos Dias. Hefe, he said, yes, sir. Buenos dias to you. That's Josh Tovar. We got Tracy Farris in the building out there in LA. I appreciate you getting up so early, man. I know it's early out there, probably beautiful day. Good day to sleep a little later, but I appreciate you. Portia Jigbo is in the building out in DC. James Wilburn, Denton, Texas in the building. Michael Benton, my man, out there in Cincinnati, Ohio. Darlene Pettit, good morning to you. I got the princess, Cabria Jesse. She said, hi. Hey, what's up? I see you on Monday down there in Charlotte. We got Josh said clean the mirror. I think I cleaned it, Josh. A couple little specks, but that's okay, man. I did clean it, man. We got my man Hafiz Melton in the building. He said peace with them fire emojis. We got Dr. Charlene Williams, Vancouver, Washington, in the building. Do I have any international folks on here? If so, then let me know you're here. Let me know what country you're in. My daughter came back with another high. And I hope all is well with you where you are right now. Tell your partner I said happy birthday. We got Jennifer Desmond. There we go. I said, where's international? Here it is, Nova Scotia, Canada. There we go. There we go. Good to see you, Jennifer. We got any more internationals in the building? I see Sharice Ayers. She was with us like a couple of years ago. But go check out that conversation we had with Sharice Ayers up in Minnesota. We had a good conversation when I was doing a segment called Leading While Black. We're going to get back to that too. I just kind of, I got a lot of trying to do, but we're going to get back to that too. That's an important topic. Where we at? Central Hicks is in the building. Dr. Makiba Jeter, I said, Ty, my man, Ty Feltman is in the building out there in the Bronx. Edwin Garcia, Jersey homie, is in the building. Cabria said, happy anniversary. Go to the Facebook page, Cabria, and see all the love we got. I think you're on Facebook, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we got a lot of love on that. She keep on saying hi, man. You bugging. Old school term. There's the queen of the castle, man. Kimberly Broughton Kafele. We'll talk about the celebration in a minute. Tamika Williams is in the building. Coach Pitch is in the building. Jersey Shore checking in. I appreciate you. I know you in DC today. My daughter, we talking like it's just me and her. That's a Kanye line, right? Marcus Scott the fourth. I see you. We're gonna get you on here too, man. I gotta reach out to you. You gotta remind me sometime. I got so many people on that list. Hey, y'all, let me see if I got anybody from Jersey so I can close out and get to. Let's see what we got. I don't see the Jersey homies, man. Y'all laying back in the cut, but I know you're here. So I'm gonna let it just get going. Well, this is not a Jersey homie, but he's homie nevertheless. So I'm gonna end with this brother. This is Kobe Wilkerson. That's my man, Kobe Wilkerson. Man, he ain't a story about this speaking business that he don't know something about, man. Because we've been in this thing a long time. He been in it as an independent much longer than I have. Kobe Wilkerson. If you don't know him, go check him out on the Facebook page and see his work. And you may want to bring him in. I need to get him on here too, because the work he does is still relevant to what we do. I see Sean Hurts. So I want to make sure that everybody knows. Check Sean at every Saturday at 10 o'clock Eastern time, followed by Create and Educate. And then myself at 10:55, we call it Super Saturday. And when Josh gets back on live, we'll go back to Fantastic Four. I'm gonna end it right there, y'all. I got a lot of fire in me, so let me ratchet it up a little bit and say to everybody, good morning, greetings, welcome to week 210 of the AP and New Principles Academy. And let me just launch it by saying, as I always say, I don't know about you. But I think I know. It's we go through stuff. We go through life. So life presents whatever challenges is going to present it with. So we go with it. We to turn life into a verb, as we do it. A lot of these words we turn into a verb. So as we life, we go through. Whatever. But at the end of the day, we got to get back to that base, right? At the end of the day, we got to get back to that base, right? Home plate. We got to get back to that base. And I'm on my base right now. And as I'm on my base, let somebody out there know, because see, the fam knows, but if somebody new to the platform today, you might not know me. You might not know the fire that I bring, the energy that I bring, the enthusiasm that I bring, the excitement that I bring, the passion that I bring, the determination that I bring, the drive that I bring. So I'm going to let you know that I'm on fire. Woo! Woo! That's how I'm feeling, man. I'm on fire. I'm blazing. I'm living life on my terms, baby. I mean, so, today is that 4th anniversary, and I'm gonna get into that in a minute. But let me just say this to you, because I said something that I was off script, and I want to make sure that we're clear. I don't need to clarify. I just want to make sure we're clear on this one thing. The word success. It's got a million definitions based on just the connotations that people have of it. Then you got your dictionary definitions and all that. But you know something? with the connotations, I decided I'm going to define success myself. Like, it's a lot of words I gave my own definitions to. You know, over the 4 years we've been on, you've been exposed to some of those words. But in this case, this word success. Let me give you my definition. I said success is the ability to live one's own life on one's own terms. Period. And if I could put in if I could put in parentheses, assuming we're talking about something that's positive, right? But outside of that, the ability to live one's own life on one's own terms. Let me tell y'all something, and I hope that this can transfer to somebody out there that needed this morning. I'm living my life on my terms. I really am. Right? I'm not living this life on somebody else's terms. I wrote out, figuratively speaking, but then again, I could say literal with the goals and the plan. I wrote out what life is going to look like for Baruti Kafele. And a part of what life will look like for Baruti Kafele will be my capacity of principal Kafele. Because make no mistake about it, I'm not principal Kafele 24/7. And if you're principal so-and-so, if you're AP so-and-so, if you're leader so-and-so, whatever your job is, if that's what you are 24/7, then you need to fall back. Because you can't be that 24/7. You got to, at some point, you got to put that to the side, like put that up on the shelf, right? And morph back into your essence. So I wrote this out, like this who I'm going to be, this how I'm going to live, this is how I'm going to do this work, this is how I'm going to be outside of the work. And watch this, here's a big one, and here's the money I'm going to earn. I'm going to determine my salary, man. I'm going, so let's go back to that definition. I'm going to live my life on my terms. So let me flip that on to you. I see you, Aunt Kathy, out there. Are you willing? Do you have the audacity? Do you have the courage, the spine, the backbone to live your life on your terms? Or will you live your life on society's terms? See, you're going to have to make that decision. And I don't mean, just to be clear now, I don't mean you becoming an entrepreneur. That's on you. I don't mean that. I mean, just by the fact that you are in leadership, those of you who are, that was a choice. That was a decision. You worked your butt off to earn the credentials to one day be in these seats you're in. That's my definition of success. You didn't fall into that, right? Everybody can't get those positions. There's certain work you have to put in. There's certain positioning you have to do relative to yourself in order to get those positions. So I'm saying to you, that's success. You living it on your terms. Yes, you work within an organization and there's certain things you have to adhere to. I get that. But there are also certain things within the organization that may need change. And maybe with you being on the inside, you can begin the process of changing some of those things. I'm an entrepreneur, but I work for clients. I can't just go in there and freestyle and do my thing. They're paying me to deliver a certain message. But the message was crafted by me. Every one of those messages. And if I didn't live that message, I'm not going to articulate that message. I only speak on things I lived. If I didn't live it, I can't do it. I'll recommend another presenter. Right. But I just want to throw that at you. That is not commentary. That's just something that popped into my head. God said, give them this too. Right. So here we go. Hit that share button, hit the retweet, hit the repost, tag some folks, call some folks, text some folks, tag them Facebook leadership groups. Let people know we here. We going solo today. I'm going to do like Luther, man. I'm going to take my time singing these love songs, man. I ain't in no rush, man. I ain't got nothing to do today but watch basketball, and that ain't till tonight. So I'm just going to take my time singing these love songs, man. Y'all sit back and take your time with me, and let's hang out for a little while and talk leadership. All right, let me go through these announcements. Number one. As big as this 4th anniversary is, I got a bigger one. I told y'all this story, the fam that's been on here with me. You've heard this before, so let me just indulge me one more time until we get to next year, May 4th, 2025. There's a club I used to go to in Newark, Newark, when I go outside, I can see Newark. I live in Jersey City, but when I go outside, I can literally see it, right? And I used to go to this club called Zanzibar. And that was a house music club. If for those of you that don't know house music, I ain't got time to explain it. It's a house music club. So that was my thing. You come in off the street and you just get down. They usually stayed open. Some nights they stayed open till 10 and 11 o'clock the next morning, right? The party didn't start jumping until after midnight though, right? So I used to go there, man. That was my spot. Every Friday, Saturday, if you wanted to catch me, just find me at Zanzibar. I'll be there. But then one day I decided I'm going to this other club in New York because I'm alone. I'm single, man. I need a lady in my life. I mean, no, I'm single. I'm 23 years old, man. I need a lady in my life. I go to this club and like as soon as I walk in there, I'm like, oh my God, there she is. There she is, right there. She dancing. She dancing with some dude, right? I don't, she know when she do. She just out there dancing. She worked in New York City, and she would go to the club at night after work, I should say, and then it spilled into the evening. So I walk in there with my Jersey self, man. She from Jersey too, and I saw her, and I said, I'm gonna make my move. I said, that's the one right there. That's her. So I went on and approached her. And I'm gonna make a very long story short, because some of y'all know I could drag this story out. I could do a whole keynote on just this story, but I'm not gonna do that. But I saw her. I said, that's the one. I said, I just got to get them digits, man. That's the phone number. For those of you that don't know slang, old school slang. And got the number, called her the next day, and showed up at the crib on Monday. And the rest is history, man. 40 years. We've been in each other's lives, 40 years. We got a wedding anniversary in June, the first, June 3rd, right? So we'll talk about that on June 3rd. But yeah, she just wrote Lordy. Now, if I told the long version, she'll say more than Lordy because I tend to embellish the long version, right? But that's so we're celebrating 40 years of togetherness, love, companionship, all that kind of thing today. So that's part of today. That's a big part of today. But in terms of why you tune in, this is week number 210, year number 4, 4th anniversary, man. Woohoo! 4th anniversary, man. I mean, let me holler at somebody because some of y'all you newer to the platform. We were at stay at home. We were in a time of uncertainty. We didn't know what the world was going to become. We were panicking, some of us. And just an age of uncertainty in terms of a virus, a global pandemic. So I'm sitting here every day. I'm doing virtual presentations every day. So it popped in my head in like April, beginning of April that year, 2020. Why not? Since you're doing all these virtual presentations, why not do I said, why not do a course? That's what I called it initially. Do a course on AP leadership. And that was me talking to me. And I said, yeah, I'm going to do this course. So I'm developing this thing. I'm promoting it heavy, like all over social media. I'm doing this course on AP leadership. That's what it was called. Course. Didn't have a name, just a course. And then somewhere closer to the start date, I gave it a name. I said the Virtual AP Leadership Academy. So I just went out of sequence. I said, I'm not going to call this a course. I'm going to call it an academy. And the intent, I said, I'm going to do this every week until the last Saturday in August 2020. That makes 18 weeks. That's it, man. That's it. So every week, man, I'm looking at all these numbers. Like the first week, the numbers were bananas, right? It was so crazy. And I was liking like every comment to the extent that Twitter had shut me down for a while. They like, that's too much likes, right? So then they brought me back later. But it was so many people. So then I kept it going. I was using exclusively, my content was coming out of the Assistant Principal 50 exclusively. Just every week, just picking little portions of that and then building on it. Like what you all didn't know was I was building on something that was brand new. The book was brand new. It just come out at the same time. That with all that I had added to it for the presentations was a whole other book. Y'all didn't know that, right? It was the things half the stuff I was coming up with wasn't in here. And every time I was doing a presentation, I was like, man, why didn't you put that in a book? I didn't think about it until I started the academy. So, so that's how that unfolded. So when I got to that 18th week, and there's Kim, someone mentioned Kim Wilson Daniel. She was taking all these notes, and we didn't know each other. She was taking all these notes and making them available to everybody. That's a part of the history of this platform, right? What she was doing. So then finally, when the 18th week came, and I'm thinking I'm gonna say goodbye to everybody, like nice knowing everybody. Hopefully I see you on the road in some of your schools and districts and conferences. I looked at them numbers, man. I said, I ain't going nowhere. I kept it going. And here we are, week 210. And I might add, here's the big word. Put this in capital letters, y'all. Consecutively. I'm going to tell y'all something, man. I've missed out on a lot of important events on Saturdays. I'm not going to get specific as to what they are, but I've missed out on a lot of things that I probably needed to be at because I was so committed to this. So committed to this, right? So, but God is good, right? We make it work one way or the other. I think one of these I recorded, two of them are recorded because one of my guests was Seventh-day Adventist and she couldn't work on Saturday. But matter of fact, she wouldn't mind me saying her name, Dr. Robin Jackson. So we recorded it. But then I figured out with StreamYard, I could still come on and do my segment, my monologue and all that separately live and then bring her recording up. So I was still on live. And then the other recording I did with Dr. Rachel Edoweke. I did the same thing. We recorded somewhere. I was in Michigan. She was in Maryland, but then I did my monologue live. So that gave me the credit for coming on live again. So I've been live every Saturday. I haven't missed a Saturday. And that's it. All right. So that's that. Let me go. I got a lot, man. Our topic today, safeguarding your leadership fervor. I got a lot to talk about, man. Y'all better hit that share button, retweet. I got a lot, man. This is one that this is a session where you're going to have to just engage in a lot of reflecting and a lot of thinking, a lot of pondering. You might want to get your mirror handy, man. I got them little dots, Josh. I need to get them off there, right? You might want to get your mirror handy because I'm going to have you thinking, man. I'm going to have some of y'all feeling uncomfortable on this one. That's the intent. I want you to feel uncomfortable. Discomfort tends to move people. When you're always comfortable, then why move? I'm good in my comfort, man. Even though you ain't where you want to be, but I'm comfortable, so I'm good. Now I want to make somebody upset today, right? I want to make somebody like I wish I ain't listened to him today, man, because this ruined my weekend. That's what I want to do today, right? Just don't shut me off, right? Or if you do, come back to the video later. But that's where I'm at with this topic. So let me go through this real quick. Welcome to the first timers. If this is your first time, that means you missed 209 sessions. So go to YouTube at the AP New Principals Academy YouTube YouTube channel, and binge watch 209 sessions, man. That's a lot, including today's, which is 210, and get yourself caught up. But big time, hit that subscribe button, man. That's big. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. We're just about at the cusp of 21,000 subscribers now. That's big. For just an ordinary cat like me. Like if I was, one of the entertainers, the rappers, the athletes, whatever, then 21,000 would be a disappointment. But when you're just a regular cat living in the small castle, it's big time, man. 21,000. I ain't complaining at all. Join me live though in Houston, July 9 and 10. Join me live in Houston, July 9 and 10 for the School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele. I see you, Judy Stoddard. If you missed that session with Judith Stoddard and Danella Bailey and Wayne Stackhouse, scroll back later on YouTube and check that out. It was fire, man. It was fire. Those are my local homies. They all worked with me when I was a baby principal in East Orange, New Jersey. It was fire, right? So I see you, Aunt Judy. I see you. I ain't seen you in person in a minute, man, but I see you. I'm gonna drop by the crib at some point so I can just see you face to face. So yes, join me in Houston, y'all, July 9 and 10 at the School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele. We're going to be talking instructional leadership most of the time, but I'm also going to talk about things that are just on your heart. So, you're going to have time, 2 full days. You're going to have time. Talk to me about what's on your heart so we can explore that as well. But in terms of my theme, what's my value to the teachers that I supervise instructionally? And I might add, You notice I didn't do any shout outs as far as places I spoke this week because I took the month off. I ain't speaking nowhere in May except one engagement on May 17 in Texas, in Houston. They got Shannon Sharp going to be in the building, so I told him I'd be there too, right? But that's the only one I'm doing in May because I'm writing what is my value to the teachers that I supervise instructionally. I'm writing that book. So every morning I get up early, like 7. I'm sitting right in this chair and I'm going hard, man. I put in about 5 hours a day, and I'm writing it. Right, we're gonna get that book out there. What is my value to the teachers that I supervise instructionally? I see you, Dr. Angie Barfield. Yeah, I'm doing a little rest too, Doc. I'm definitely getting that rest in. But that's after the typing is done. And then I watch NBA basketball playoffs, or the playoffs watch me sometimes, right? But it's on, right? So that's that. Join me in Houston. Go to principalcafele.com, scroll down to the announcements and click that link. And then I want to see you in the building in July. And then come on back the next week for the Rock Conference, Black Educators Rock in Houston, July 18 through 21. I'm not going to be there all them days. I'll be there the 20th and the 21st. I'll be on the road, man. That's that summer grind. Every day is a different state or a different country. And, you know, I can't be in a place for 4 days, but I'll be there for 2 days. So come on and join me in Houston both times. My books for the new heads on here, the Assistant Principal 50, the Assistant Principal Identity, the Principal 50, the Aspiring Principal 50, the Is My School a Better School Because I Lead It. Then there's a stack more down there, but these are the leadership books, and that's all I'm going to take time showing you right now. And then be sure to like and follow my AP and New Principals Academy Facebook page. I'm proud of that 10,000 followers it has. Give me some more. Get some more people on there, and I'm going to try my best to start writing that commentary again on Sundays, right? I'm done, y'all. Let's get to it. I do have a monologue. With all that talking, I do have a monologue. You know, I do those YouTube shorts every Wednesday. I call it my midweek fire. I'm only going to do them until the end of May, and then I'm gonna put it on hold because the summer's coming. I know some people are in school till June, but I'm gonna put it on hold until August, when folks are starting to go back to school in the southern states and different parts of the country. So we're gonna finish up May. Then I'm gonna be on hold and work on my grind throughout the country. And then in August, which will still be grind season, but I'll start going live. I mean, not live, but start putting my YouTube shorts up again. But the one I just did was talking about your leadership fit. You know, I did a session not long ago, or a YouTube short not long ago, and I talked about you being underappreciated and undervalued on your job, right? Like here you are, you know you're worth something, you know you're valuable, but you feel undervalued, you feel underappreciated. So you got to go back into the YouTube shorts to see that. But then I added on to it with this past Saturday when I talked about, are you the right leadership fit, right? So here's what I mean. Like you bring a certain quality about you. You bring a certain skill set about you. You bring a certain purpose about you, a certain focus, a certain mission, a certain vision, a certain goals, right? A certain determination, right? And I can go on and on. There's a certain essence about you. Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm not a good fit for every school that needs a principal. I'm a good fit for those schools that are compatible with the way I see the world. So Principal Gafele, I could be talented, I could have a skill set, I could be experienced, but it doesn't mean that I could go into a school and be the right fit. And because I may not be the right fit, I probably will be miserable the whole time I'm there and thereby underperform because I'm not the right fit for that environment. So I'm simply asking you, are you the right fit for where you work? Like, you know, I make no secrets about it, about my focus on equity, my focus on cultural relevance, my focus on cultural responsiveness, my focus in a school that's predominantly African-American, my focus on Afrocentric learning, teaching and learning. I don't hide from that. I don't run away from that. That's who I am. And if there are people in the world that can't accept that, then nice knowing you, right? So, but that's who I am. So I can't just go in any school and, what's the word I'm looking for? Conform to what they want of me. I gotta be me, not do what you want of me. Hear me, somebody, because I ain't never said that like that. I can't be in somewhere and be what you want of me. I got to be me. Do you see the difference? So if I go in there and I have to conform, acquiesce, that's the word I was looking for. I got to acquiesce to what you want of me, then you're asking me to not be myself. It's like when I go to a place and they ask me not to mention equity. Well, you've asked for me to step out of this shell and bring some other version of me, which I refuse to do, which every client that asks me to do that knows that. I'm not bringing an imposter of myself. I'm bringing myself. I'm bringing me. And if me is not acceptable, then I've got a different person, because I got a whole, use an old school term, whole Rolodex of people that I can refer. As old school, y'all. Some people are here like, what's a Rolodex, right? But I got that whole, what's that word, man, for the phone, man? Hit me. What's that word, man? Address book, right? I got that whole address book, right? Contact list. See, I got to rely on the young heads, man. I got the contact list of people I can refer if I can't bring my authenticity to the event. So I'm just simply asking you, as I do my extended monologue, I'm going solo today. I ain't got no guests, man. Y'all hang with me, man. I'm asking you, are you the right fit? Have you compromised yourself in order to be accepted on your job, within your leadership? I'm not doing that, y'all. And someone could be on here, one of the young heads, well, all y'all younger than me. One of the young heads say, well, come on, Kafele, you 63. It's easy for you to say that. But the folks on here that know me, I was talking like this in my 20s as a teacher. I had pictures on the wall of all these famous African-American and African diasporan freedom fighters. The principal, my first year, Brooklyn, New York, came in my room and said, Kafele, would you take those down? I said, why? Because some of the teachers feel offended. I said, I can't do that. I'm 28 years old. I ain't just get this way. I said, Madam Principal, I call her by name. I don't want to say her name. Madam Principal, I can't take these down. These are a reflection of me and what I want to instill in the students. Guess what? They didn't come down. She could have, I wasn't tenured. She could have fired me. They invited me to come back the next year. It's my first year. I'm first year refusing, right? No, I ain't new to this. How them young people saying, I'm true to this. But then it went further. I was wearing dashikis to work, man. I was in my 20s, baby. And she said, could you stop wearing those? Now, I wore a tie underneath. So just imagine this shirt's a dashiki. I got the tie. You can see the knot right here. I said, why? She said, well, some of the teachers are a little offended. Offended by me wearing my culture? Am I offended when they wear their culture, which they wear every day? I'm just wearing mine. And I wanted to say, but I wasn't going to go so bold because she was black. I wanted to say, and I'm wearing yours too. But I ain't go that far. I was first year teacher, you know. I ain't gonna go but so far, right? But could you stop wearing that? Nah, I can't stop wearing that. This me, right? This is me. What Felix said yesterday. Yeah, I wore it because when I went back to East Orange, I still wore them bad boys, man. I gotta be me. I'm just asking you, is the school a fit for your leadership? Now I'm gonna tell you, y'all, I'm solo today. That's why I'm not rambling. I'm just taking my time singing these love songs, baby. I went to another town in Jersey. I'm not gonna name it because I got friends down there. I went to another town in Jersey. I knew the day I set foot there before school even started. I got there in July. School didn't start till September. I knew the day I set foot in that district in July, I said, I made a mistake in leaving East Orange. this place is not compatible with my leadership. And the school hadn't even started yet. I just knew it. Certain things, which I'm not going to get into here, we'll put it in a book later. Certain things, I said, this ain't for me. And I left that school after that year. I went back home to East Orange because it wasn't a good fit for my leadership. So I'm not on here saying, hey, fam, hey, y'all, quit your jobs. No, I ain't being careless like that, irresponsible and reckless. I'm not doing that. I'm just asking you the question. I got the mirror up. Is the school a good fit for your leadership? And if not, what is your plan? I'm not going to ask you what's your exit plan. I'm just asking you, what is your plan? What's your plan? You're going to continue to go to that school for the rest of your career miserable? Like you wake up in the morning, oh God, let me get my head right. I can go to this dreaded place. See, that's not living your life on your terms. I ain't living like that. And I never lived like that except that 1 year because I knew I was in the wrong place. So I'm not living that. What's your plan? So that you can find that school or find a superintendent that allows you to build that school that's compatible with the way you see the world, educationally speaking. Because there ain't no right way. Make no mistake about it. Because if it was, then we'd all do it. There are different perspectives. There are different philosophies of how we do things. But I'm going to tell you this, I stand on my beliefs, on my convictions, which I'm going to talk about in depth today. I stand on them. Like the young people say, I stand on business, right? So I stand on what I believe, and I will build around that. So that's my extended monologue. I'm just asking you, is your leadership the right fit? And if not, what are you doing about it? What is your plan? I won't be careless on here saying, what's your exit plan? That ain't for me to say. If you and I meet up in the parking lot somewhere, then I'll say it. You and I meet up in the convention center somewhere, I'll say it. But on this platform, I won't say it, right? What I'll say is, what's your plan? And I'll leave it there. Hey, y'all, my topic today is safeguarding your leadership fervor. My notes, like I use a template, and there's a portion on here. Like I've been using the same template since week 1. All I do is just cut out and, copy and paste, that type of thing, right? Cut and paste, not copy and paste, cut and paste. So there's a portion here that says biography. And I debated this week. I said, man, a lot of people in here don't know my bio. Maybe I should read my bio. And then like midweek, I said, I ain't reading no bio, man. If they want to know my life, I ain't hard to find, man. So we ain't doing no bio. But let me go to it again. My topic today. Let me give you that safeguarding your leadership fervor, right? Safeguarding your leadership fervor. Man, get yourself a pen. Maybe you might want a highlighter, right? Get your mirror. I need to get my lock, man, but lock in. It's here, but I can't reach it. Lock in. Tell somebody we're here. We're here. To the fam out there. Let me first, before I transition, I want to thank you, right? I forgot to do that. I see it in my notes here to remind me, but I forgot to look at it. I want to thank you for, especially the ones that have been with me for 4 years. That would mean you've been with me for over 418 hours. That's a long time, right? I want to thank you for your support, your belief in this platform, your love, right? I want to thank you for all of that, your faith, right? And I hope that you benefited from the 418 plus hours that we have been on here. That's a long time, over 4 years. 418 hours. I did the math the other day. So here we go into year 5 now. Here we go. But I want to go back into the previous 4, May 2nd, 2020. And I want to just remind everybody, it was May 2nd on the day, because that was on the Saturday of that year. 3 things real quick. I only created this because of my strong conviction that The assistant principalship is the most misunderstood and underutilized position in all of education. So you'll recall that we were first the virtual AP Leadership Academy, and we spent 3 years talking about the virtual AP Leadership Academy, so talking about the AP. But then I ran into all these principals last summer at these various different conferences that I was speaking at, and they were giving me the same verbiage. I used to watch you. I see you, Dr. Marcus Jackson. I see you. They were saying, I used to watch you every Saturday. And I was like, used to? What happened? Well, I'm a principal now. Oh, we're still relevant. More so than when you were in AP, because now you by yourself. So I rebranded like on the spot at the first conference. I sat down in a chair, reached out to my graphics guy who's fam, Alonzo Wright, Jersey City, and reached out to him. Then I started messing around on my computer, and we rebranded on the spot the AP and New Principals Academy. New Principals meaning 5 years minimum, right? So so now we're still under the notion of the most misunderstood and underutilized position in education. But I said that new principal needs guidance and leadership as well, right? So that's that. But then I said, I posed the question: does my assistant principalship benefit my school academically? And see, we could say, you know, whatever our roles and responsibilities are as an AP, we could say, yeah, I'm benefiting my school if you're a full-time disciplinarian. Yeah, I'm benefiting my school if you work the cafeteria for 4 periods. Yeah, I'm benefiting my school. If you ordering teacher supplies, yeah, I'm benefiting my school. But I asked academically. And ain't none of that stuff speaking to you, how your role correlates with academic achievement. So I added that word academically. Does my assistant principalship benefit my school academically? But then I went on and said, does my new principalship benefit my school academically? It all matters. It all matters. So then, as I just said, we went on and made that shift from the virtual AP Leadership Academy to the AP and New Principals Academy. And that takes me to where I am now. Today's topic, I'm here. Safeguarding your leadership fervor. Once again, safeguarding your leadership fervor. I want to be clear on what I mean by fervor. F-E-R-V-O-R. And I'm going to be using notes on the screen today, by the way, folks. And I see all your comments. I ain't been, you know, I don't have a guest on where I got the freedom to put all these comments up because I got to stay focused on my notes and what I'm doing. So I see you, though. I see you. I appreciate you, too. Hit that share button. Hit that retweet. Hit that repost. Tag somebody. Let them know we are here. We are ready to rip. Fervor. When I use fervor, I'm not using a dictionary definition. I'm just talking about that intensity, man. That fire, those flames. And I'm saying that figuratively. I ain't expecting you to be running around there looking like you on fire. But I'm talking figuratively, that feeling you have inside emotionally, that feeling you have inside mentally, that fire, that energy, that passion that you bring to your leadership every day, that intensity. So when I say safeguarding your leadership fervor, I'm saying safeguarding your leadership intensity, your leadership fire, your leadership passion, your leadership excitement. That's what I'm talking about. You got to safeguard that. You've got to protect that. Just like you safeguard things that you own. Some of you have certain precautions you take to safeguarding your home, certain precautions you take to safeguarding your other property, such as your automobile, certain precautions you take to safeguarding your loved ones, your spouse, your partner, your children, your friends, whomever, right? So we safeguard certain things that we love, right? That we happen to possess. Well, I'm asking you, are you safeguarding your fervor? Because just as it's easy for you to walk into a shopping mall and return back to your car a couple hours later and your car is gone. I don't wish that on anybody, but you know it's reality in some of our lives. Your car was stolen, and maybe you didn't properly safeguard it, or maybe just the thieves were a little bit had a step on you, and whatever you did, they can go a step further and get the car, right? Well, I'm saying to you that your leadership fervor, you've got to safeguard it. You've got to protect it, because people, because things, because situations can rob it from you with your eyes wide open, your ears wide open. But something, someone, a situation, a circumstance can rob you of your fervor within your leadership, and you don't even realize what happened. All you know is, I don't feel the way I felt. Let me give you this crazy example, right? I got to give y'all this, man. I ain't got no guess, y'all. So y'all got to work with me. I went to the ophthalmologist yesterday. Y'all know what an ophthalmologist is. You know, the eye doctor, but not the optometrist, the ophthalmologist. That's a little, they go a little deeper, man. They know a little bit more, right? So I've been going to ophthalmologists. My eyes have been bad. I was born with bad eyes, right? So my eyes ain't all that good. So I would rather a dentist pull my tooth than for the ophthalmologist to put them drops in my eye. And then you got to look into that apparatus and all them lights shining in you, or you got to look at the letters on the screen and they asking you to read them and you can't hardly see. You sitting up there, tears coming, you crying, right? So that thing yesterday, hear me, sucker. We talking about people robbing you of your fervor. They put them eye drops in me. The nurse put them in. My wife said, "Oh boy," right? The nurse put them in, right? Because I came home complaining yesterday, y'all. I was like, "Yo, man, you have to do this." Yeah, we got to be able to see your pupils and your eyes got to dilate, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, "Oh my God, this is worse than the dentist pulling a tooth." That's what I said. I got tears streaming. She's like, "Oh, sir, it's not that bad. Come on." So then they put the screen. Which letters you see better? Number 1 or number 2? I'm like, I don't see none of them, right? So they kept going with it, number 1 or number 2, and I'm feeling myself getting depressed. So like I can't give I can't give any answer because it's going to affect my prescription. Because I saw these frames like 2 weeks ago in the store, and I'm like, I gotta have them, right? Y'all gonna see them next week. They fly, right? So. So I said I got to get my eyes examined because I don't want to get the new frames and then turn out I need a different lens, right? So then they tell me to sit out in the hallway with the other patients while my eyes dilate, right? The pupils, whatever. I know I'm probably wording that wrong. I don't know. That's not my area of expertise. I know school leadership, right? So then I'm sitting out there and I can't hardly read my phone because I can't see, right? So then finally they call me back in. All right, the doctor's ready to see you this time. So then I see her get that them drops things again, that tube again, right? I'm like, "You're not getting ready to give me more drops, are you?" She said, "Yeah, I gotta give you more." Come on, man. That's why I said, "Come on, man. You gotta give me more of that. Don't the other ones still? I'm still blurry." She said, "No, I gotta give you more because the doctor gotta look at your eyes, right?" They put more. I said, "Oh my God, I don't want this." Long story short, somebody said it's already long. Watch this, y'all. I got home, right? Oh, I couldn't see. I wish I had brought them with me. I don't have them with me. They gave me these shades that fit under my lenses. They said, "You're not gonna be able to see when you get out." I'm thinking, I'll be able to see. Man, I walked outside. I couldn't see nothing. I put them shades things on. They fit like right under the lens, right? I could see. I was able to drive home. I got in this house. My wife was here. I said, "Man, I don't feel right. I don't feel right." I said, "I think I need to go to bed." So as my vision got better, I started feeling better. You know something, y'all? That experience, and y'all better not laugh either. That experience traumatized me. Yeah, it did. That experience with them drops traumatized me. I mean, I couldn't function when I got home. I said to my wife, I need to go to sleep. My body felt weak. I felt like I'm getting ready to get sick or something, man. And like as soon as my vision came back to where I'm accustomed to it being, I felt good. Like I was ready to run 5 miles outside. That's how good I felt, which I don't do 5 miles, by the way. Right. So the experience sapped me of my fervor. That's the only place I'm going with that. I wasn't myself because I had an experience that I didn't realize was going to impact me the way that it did, but it did. And I'm in my house, it's me and my wife home, and I'm feeling like, ugh, ain't good. I'm not in that other city with them doctors and nurses and all that kind of stuff. I'm home in Jersey City, but I'm like in a funk. I'm like depressed. My fervor was compromised. So what I'm saying to you is your fervor can be compromised when you in situations and it's happening right before your eyes and you don't even realize what just happened. That's my point. And that's what I want to get into right now, y'all. You have to be so vigilant. You have to be so alert in being able to hold a tight grip of your fervor because things can take it. Oh man, Doc, don't hey, Dr. Jackson, don't be getting deep on me now, man. Because see, now you're gonna take me somewhere that I hadn't considered until I saw what you just wrote. You said as your vision gets better, you'll feel better. Question, how's your vision? Man, yo, hey Doc, don't get me started because that's a whole, I'm gonna use the language on this one. That's a whole damn lecture. The question, Dr. Jackson, that's why it's good to have good homies at your side, is why didn't I think of that? That's a whole lecture, man. My vision wasn't there. Like, come on. Hey, y'all, I know you here for the safeguard message, but Doc just put this in me, man. I got to run with this now. Like when me and Doc and I was at his district last summer, and a young lady talked about, she said, stop saying balance and start saying harmony. Me and Dr. Marcus Jackson went buck wild. We went crazy that day, right? So now, Doc, you got me started, man. You got me amped. See, that vision. Forget about the vision of my eyes at the doctor. We're using that as the analogy. The vision where you see like your dream, you see it. But then something happens and you don't see it. Ooh. Something happens and now you don't see what you just saw. Hey, Doc, man, you got me started. You saw this thing, man. It was like within your reach. You saw it, but then certain things, circumstances happened, and your vision got cloudy like this. And you couldn't see it the way you just saw it 5 minutes ago, and you don't know what happened. You don't realize, like, where'd my confidence go? Where'd my conviction go? Your vision got cloudy. Like I can't see myself right now. But then as my vision was restored yesterday, I started feeling better. In fact, I started feeling like myself. I said to my wife, I could go out here and do 5 miles now. Whereas 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, I was ready to go upstairs and go lay in the bed. Oh man, Dr. Jackson, that might be the next book. Bottom line, y'all, man, y'all better make sure y'all got the right people around you. Doc be dropping stuff, man, on our thread sometime, man. You know, that's what you want. That's what you want. You want to have them people around you. Let's get to my topic, y'all, because I got a lot more in me with that whole vision topic, but I'm making myself come back to my focus. So that fervor is that intensity, that fire that you bring, right? So here, the whole intent for this session is just, I want you to reflect deeply about your own fervor, your own fire. So I want to make these assumptions. I wrote these notes. I want to make these assumptions. And if I'm wrong, you forgive me, but I feel strongly about these assumptions as they relate to you. I got 5 assumptions, not 5 assumptions. Number 1, you all entered the teaching profession with a high level of fervor. Every one of you. When you make, those of you that taught, which I would think it would be probably 99.9% of you, when you entered, when you knew you wanted to do this, you brought this high level of intensity, this high level of fervor that I really want to get this. I believe I'm the right person for this position. I believe that these children are going to benefit from my presence in this classroom. That's my assumption. At some point, many of you decided that you wanted to be a leader and you prepared with a high level of fervor. I'm talking about your preparation. And then you entered the assistant principalship with a high level of fervor. So my point is, once you got that notion, once you got that bug in you that I want to be an assistant principal, you started going hard on your preparation, which is inclusive of your graduate school training. But you didn't stop it there. You were doing all the things that you felt were necessary in order for you to one day land that job, right? So then when you got the job, you went in there with that fire. Doesn't mean you didn't have butterflies, but you went in there with that fire that you were ready to go. That's my assumption, and I believe my assumption is right. Number three, some of you had a very good assistant or in the midst of a very good assistant principal experience, while others are not having a good experience or did not have a good experience, and then everybody in between, right? But my assumption is, despite the fact that the experience may not have been what you wanted to be, you were able to maintain your fervor, right? You maintain your fervor, particularly those of you who stayed hungry, while others may have allowed their fervor to be compromised. Let me say that again. I'm assuming that you all, the fam, maintained your fervor even in bad situations. But there are people out here in the world, you didn't maintain that fervor. You allowed that bad experience to compromise your fervor. And you may not have known how to safeguard it or protect it, right? I don't necessarily mean the fam on here. I mean people out here in the world that don't even know that this platform exists or that I was even born. Number 4, those of you that moved on to the principalship, you prepared with a high level of fervor and you entered the position with a high level of fervor. You were hungry. But number 5, some of you had a great experience as a first-year principal or are within it right now, while others at the opposite extreme had a very bad experience as a first-year principal, or you're in the midst of it right now. But I'm going to assume with the fam, you maintained your fervor, which is critically important. But some folks out there in the world, because the situation was such a bad one, the experience was such a bad one, their fervor was compromised. Now, let me ask you, even though I gave you credit as fam, is there somebody out there, let me hold up my mirror, and your fervor was compromised, and you do not have the fervor that you once had when you entered that new position? See, that matters. And that's what we're going to talk about. So my whole point in all of that, your fervor must be safeguarded. Your fervor must be safeguarded. You have to protect it. So I've got these self-reflective questions for you to consider as I unpack this topic. Let me run through these quickly. Number 1, how badly, and these are self-reflective, how badly do I want to become phenomenal at what I do? I'm just asking you, hold up your mirror. Ask yourself, how badly do I want to become phenomenal at what I do? Number 2, got 5 questions for you to consider. Feel free to write them down or rewind the tape and the video and write them later. How badly do I want to grow professionally at what I do? Like, how bad do you want that? See, the first one's how bad do you just want to be phenomenal? But now we're talking about the process in this second one. How badly do I want to grow professionally? So what am I going to do to facilitate my own growth? Number 3, how badly do I want to see my students exceed expectations under my leadership? Let's pause that one for a second. I'm saying to somebody out here, You in there to lead. Everything rests on your shoulders. How badly do you want to see your students exceed expectations, capital letters, under your leadership? You got to want that bad, but then you got to put the right measures in place. Number 4, how badly do I want to see my teachers grow professionally under my leadership? How badly do I want to see my teachers grow professionally under my leadership? In other words, I'm asking you, as it relates to your leadership, what is the correlation between you leading and the professional growth and development of your teachers? See, how badly do you want it? You gotta own these questions. And the last one, how badly do I want my school to soar under my leadership? How badly do I want my school to soar under my leadership? Let me give you them 5 again. How badly do I want to become phenomenal at what I do? How badly do I want to grow professionally at what I do? How badly do I want to see my students exceed expectations under my leadership? How badly do I want to see my teachers grow professionally under my leadership? How badly do I want my school to soar under my leadership? Man, I'm asking you how badly, but only you can answer that question. And if I'm you, I'm writing that down. I'm journaling that one. How badly do you want it? Because see, here's what follows that. What is the evidence? So let's just look at the first one. How badly do I want to become phenomenal at what I do? And you give some answer. I really want this. Okay. What's the evidence that you really want it badly? You're doing what? And what's the difference between how hard you work and how smart you work? What's the difference? See, that matters, right? So make sure that you get that. I appreciate you writing those up. Stephanie Gage, if you missed my interview with Stephanie Gage and others, scroll way back about a year maybe or less, and check that interview out. She's a first-year principal doing her thing out in Illinois. All right, here we go. So when I say fervor, I'm really talking about, in terms of my approach to fervor. I got 10 words in particular that I'm going to focus on 3 of them today because of time. But these are the 10: conviction, optimism, persistence, perseverance, excitement, obligation, that sense of obligation, experience, how your experiences factor into your present work, your work ethic, your attention to detail, and your resilience. Could I have added a plethora of other words? Yes. But these are the 10 that I'm really focused on when I talk about safeguarding your fervor. Because of time, I'm going to focus on conviction, optimism, and persistence. And then my next solo will be my birthday week, which is not till October. And I'll be doing part 2, which is perseverance, excitement, and obligation on my birthday week. That'll be October 26th, live from Montego Bay, Jamaica. So here we go. I'm going to cover the first 3. So I got a question for you. So let's go deep on this now. How am I protecting my leadership convictions? I want you to let that marinate for a second. How are you protecting your leadership convictions? Because here's the thing, y'all. You walk into that building as a teacher, you walk into that building as a counselor, you walk into that building as an assistant principal, you walk into that building as a principal, you walk into that building as a superintendent. I would dare say you are walking in with certain convictions. And if you're not, then I question you on that. I really would. Like, there's nothing you hold dear. You don't have certain convictions about this work. And I really, when I use this word convictions, I want to draw a contrast. I'm not talking about your beliefs, and I'm not talking about your opinions. Of course, your beliefs and opinions can factor into your convictions, but I'm not asking you how you're protecting your beliefs in this regard. I'm not asking you how you're protecting your opinions in this regard. I'm elevating those two to the level of conviction. Like this thing has convicted you. There is no compromise. There is no deviation, right? There is no pulling you off your spot. This is what I firmly have conceptualized is what it is, and nothing can alter that at all. So I'll give you these two examples. These two conviction examples. I'll use myself as an example. I put this in the second person in my notes, but I think I'm gonna flip it on the first person. Me. I stand on equity, as I said earlier on this session. I stand on it. Equity is a conviction of mine. It is not just a belief. It is a belief, and it is my opinion that it matters. But I'm elevating it to the level of conviction. Equity is a strong conviction of mine. As Boss Educator just said, it's at my core, my educational core. I stand on it, as Jennifer Desmond just said. But secondly, in terms of conviction, I stand on my conviction of cultural relevance in teaching and learning, cultural relevance in curriculum and instruction. That is not just a belief of mine. That is not just a strong opinion of mine. That is a conviction of mine. You can't sway me on that. I don't care how persuasive you are, how strong your arguments are, how strong your research is. Nothing can move me from that spot. Those two items, those are not my only convictions in leadership, by the way. I'm just giving you those two examples. Those are two of my convictions, very strong convictions, as it relates to education, as it relates to school leadership. Let me ask you a question, and I want you to feel free to throw it right in the chat. If it's politically okay for you to do so. I'm not looking for people to lose their jobs from my Saturday Academy. So if you're comfortable with it, put it in the chat. What are your convictions as it relates to your leadership, as it relates to this whole education space? And here's your leadership within it. What are some of your convictions? And I will share them as you post them, if you want me to. If you don't, then don't write it on the thread, right? Don't tell me don't share it, because if it's written, it's public, right? But let me know. So with that said, and Rashida RC said impact, right? And yeah, so if I can interpret that correctly, Rashida, what you're saying is you are convicted that within your capacity, you have to be making an impact. You can't just be in the building, but you've got to be making an impact while you're in the building, if I'm interpreting that correctly. Ronald Pugh said every student matters. That's a conviction, because there are places where it's unspoken, tacit, that if we can get these 80% on this test, we good. But see, based on what you said, Ronald, that's not good, because then we're saying the 20% that didn't fail, we good with the fact we got the 80. So every student matters. Kimberly May said, I stand on teacher agency. Man, that's a big one. So now your practice, your leadership has to demonstrate that that's who you are, that you have a conviction as it relates to teacher agency. Rashida said, yes, sir. Appreciate that. Valerie Macy said every student must be lifted. We are advocates of such. So Valerie saying, I'm convicted that every voice must be lifted. Every youngster in the building must have voice. We're not suppressing voice because you happen to be this youngster or happen to be this youngster, or your voice happens to say these things which run counter to my core values. You're saying every voice must be lifted, and you're convicted. Carrie, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Carrie Rosa said every student can learn. So I was going to add my own words, but I think you mean this. Every student can, in fact, learn. Conviction. Paula McIntosh Bethea, I was just at her school not long ago here in Jersey. She said equity, cultural relevance. We in the same place. every student matters. Every student heard. Every educator, I'm sorry, heard. That's a big one. You threw in something different there, Principal Bethea. You said every educator heard. See, so that's a conviction, meaning that she's not going to silence the teachers. The teachers have a platform. The teachers have a voice, and she's going to make sure that that voice is heard. Y'all know I don't be doing this a lot, so I'm doing it today because I'm going solo, and I like this. Golfar WT, he said, we are here to serve and build students, school, and community. So, and I think the two key words, Golfar, are serve and build. See, that matters. So now you're saying that's a conviction. So the evidence would be those, when the folks around you in the building see you when you're serving, you're leading as this servant educator, right? As this servant educator who plays his role in the building of this whole student school community that you mentioned here. Good stuff. A. Washington, quality instruction, right there at the core. Is the instruction, is it quality? Is it going to take students from points A to point B or not? Now, y'all, I see y'all got a lot. I ain't gonna read all of these, man. I'm gonna read some of them. Let me get with Dr. Marcus Jackson, though. He said everything, ensuring that every student has everything they need to reach their optimal level. There it is. I mean, he gave it a different take. He said everything, ensuring that every student has everything they need to reach their optimal level, so there'll be no holding back. Yolanda McKinney said overcoming adversity, advocacy for those who need it most, empowering educators, lifting all voices, student voices. And let me read one more. JT Coulter said equity in action. Bam. Send us a boy in September. We send a gentleman home in June. Bam. That's a good one to end this on too. Send us a boy. Send us a girl. In September, we send you a young woman in June. Some of y'all do August to May, so same thing, right? I know it's a lot more, y'all. I'm gonna be asking you a few things today. I kind of like this, so don't worry about it. I got you. A lot of y'all on here, man. I appreciate you. So with that, you got these convictions. I want to remind you of something. Saturday morning on the AP and New Principals Academy, it's like a getaway. I'm not in the building, right? And that's not to say that every school is pressure filled and tension filled. Some of them are just it's at home. It's like I feel I'm playing basketball every day. I'm having a great time. But other places it could be some tension. It could be overwhelming in some schools, right? So this AP and New Principals Academy becomes sort of like your refuge, so to speak, your getaway. So it's easy to come on here and think the things you think and express the things you express that I see on these threads every week. But now you got to go back, y'all. This is the point. You got to go back, and you can't leave what you say in the comments every Saturday in the comments. You got to take those comments with you. So when you write those comments, you got to keep them close to the vest, right? And they got to truly be yours. They got to be yours. You got to own them. You got to claim them. You got to embrace them. So that when you walk in that building with your head held high, with your chest out and your shoulders back, and you walking in there with that swag, you're bringing that conviction with you. And you're protecting it. You're safeguarding it. You're not letting the distractions. You're not letting the temptations. You're not letting the negativity. You're not letting jive people stop you of your conviction of whatever it is you're convicted about. That matters. So I got these questions for you as it relates to your convictions, and let's dive into it. I told you I had 3 words. I hope I'll be done. Number 1, within your areas of leadership, where do your convictions lie? And that's the one I just asked, and that's what y'all continue to write. I'm glad. I read these comments when I'm done in the afternoons. I sit out, well, in the summertime when the weather's warm, I sit outside and I just scroll. When I'm inside, I sit here and I just scroll. I don't want to y'all just writing and I don't know what you said, right? So where do your convictions lie? So let's take that one to another level. In what areas of your leadership can no one sway your convictions? Yeah, a boss educator. I know that's old school jive people, man. That's 70s talk. That's 70s talk. Yeah. So that's the second one. In what areas of your leadership can no one sway your convictions? Like, like you don't care what's going on. You don't care what people say. You don't care what people think. The question is not asking you about you steering away from your path. I'm not talking about that because sometimes, if you're gonna keep your job, you trying to get to certain places. There's some things I understand. Sometimes we're gonna compromise. I can safely say I didn't, but I can relate to people who do. I understand. I really do. I don't want to come across insensitively, right? So I understand that sometimes you got to compromise on certain things because you're trying to get to a certain place, or even just within your school. Might not be advancement, but just in your school, you want to be there. You don't want to be on the outside looking in. So I get all of that. My question more so, in what areas of your leadership can no one sway your convictions? I'm saying what you feel inside. So you may be in a situation, oh my God, I gotta conform to this. I gotta adhere to this. I gotta compromise on my convictions in this. I gotta do something that I don't necessarily believe in. All right. That's not the question I'm asking you. I'm asking, what are those areas of your conviction that they're so firmly entrenched in your psyche that regardless of the situation, regardless of the data they put before you, but regardless of the research they put before you, you said, I'm still not budging. I don't care what you put before me. This conviction is who I am. Like if somebody brought me some research to say that, and I'm talking about schools that are predominantly African American. So someone brought some research to say an African-centered perspective is not necessarily going to move the academic needle. They could bring me that research, and I'm going to dispute it, and I'm going to refute it. I don't care what their research says. I don't care how convincing their argument is. I stand firmly on that conviction. And one of the reasons that I stand so firmly on it is because I lived it. So that research could be sound research, but it may not have been a place with educators, because it wasn't just me, it was the people in my school. Some of y'all saw, I had some of them teachers on here with me, right? Deidre Smith, Hubert Chase, and others, right? So I'm saying here, we lived it. I had teachers who were convicted, and their leader was convicted, and the assistant principal, Kevin Booker, was convicted. So I don't care what someone's research says, because I would need to do the analysis of the people, right? So we were convicted in what we were doing, and were able to attain the results that we attained. So nothing is going to sway me from that. I don't care what you bring me. Nothing is going to sway me. So I want to go back to you all. In what areas of your leadership can no one sway your convictions? Holler at me, somebody. I'm reading these comments. Anybody got something here? Where you at? Where you at? Let me see what Maya said, because I think this might have been before my question, but I'm curious. She said, I'm not even a principal or an AP. However, as a teacher of struggling readers and as a mentor teacher, I do not take my leading role for granted. I will always be who I am. I love that. I love that. I love that. Portia said, there's always a way to reach all children. I will not budge on that. I believe that. I love that. I love that. Carol Blanchard said, sometimes there's an educational Damascus road for leaders. Yeah, that's right. So sometimes it's not there. We got to leave and find it. And Arcella said, I cannot be swayed believing that every child can learn, right? See, me either. Neither can I. I believe it. But see, it's got to be through equity. If I'm going to treat them all as if they're all here, when I got there, here, and here, and I'm going to give it just here, then that won't work. But if I'm equitable in my approach, then I increase the probability that all youngsters are going to be successful. Let me go to my third question under conviction. In what areas of your leadership would conflict result? Watch this, y'all. In what area areas of your leadership would conflict result due to your deep convictions if, for example, your direct supervisor approached them differently? Woo. I'm going to give you that one again. In what areas of your leadership would conflict result due to your deep convictions if, for example, your direct supervisor approached them differently? So the question is asking, here you are AP and you look at the world the way you look at it, but your principal sees it vastly differently. And that's inclusive of whatever your convictions may be. I'm asking you, can that sway you? Right? Can that produce conflict? And if it produces conflict, what are you going to do about it? Now, I don't have an answer for you. I told you the purpose of this session, I just want you to think, because these questions are real life scenarios. So it's a real life scenario. You're a principal and you got certain beliefs. You lead your school, your name is on the building, but the superintendent is not in agreement with your convictions. And the superintendent brings you in his office or her office, or the assistant superintendent, whoever your evaluator is, and they let you know, I'm not down with the way you do things. I'm not down with your convictions. Your convictions run counter to what we're trying to achieve here. Your convictions run counter to our district mission. Your convictions run counter to our district vision. Your convictions run counter to our district goals and objectives. I don't have an answer for that because I don't want to be careless on here. I'd have an answer if we were face to face, but not here. But I will say this. You're going to have to make a decision. My intent right now is just for you to think that one through, because someone might be on this thread right now that's never been a situation of yours, and it might become one on Monday. It might become one next week. And how will you approach it? What are you going to do? You can't be who Teacher Kafele was, and the principal says, take down the pictures of all the Black historic figures, and Teacher Kafele says, I will not. Right? You can't be Teacher Kafele, who the principal says you can't continue to come here wearing these dashikis in Brooklyn, New York City, and Teacher Kafele says, but I must. Right? You're gonna have to come up with what's gonna work for you. But the bottom line is not your behavior, but the safeguarding, the protection of the conviction. See, I don't want you to relinquish who you are. Sometimes you gotta sway in order to get along, right? Or, and here's what I said at the beginning with the monologue, or you can open up your eyes and your ears and find that place that's a better fit for you. Because remember, the interview is a two-way street. It's not just somebody interviewing you. And that's the part we get confused so much. We think that we're on the interview to be interviewed. No, you're at the interview to be interviewed, but by the same token, you're there to interview the one that's interviewing you. You want to interview them to find out if this is a place that you want to settle down and live your life for a little while. And I found out that I was in some places that this is not the place I want to live, work-wise. I need to be somewhere else that's compatible with my convictions. We'll leave that right there. Let's go. Next question. How would you handle it if your district launched a new initiative that ran counter to your leadership convictions? How would you handle it if your district launched a new initiative that ran counter to your leadership convictions? I can give you a real life example on this as a leader. I told you this before, those of you who are fam, but it was in a different context. Superintendent, man, I had great respect for. I won't mention his name. I had several superintendents over the years. If he's watching, he'll know who he is. He did his dissertation in part on lesson planning. And he decided that he wanted the district teachers, all the teachers in the district, to get away from doing 1 week lesson plans and do 2.5 week lesson plans. I don't mean unit planning. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about lesson plans that cover 2.5 weeks. Unit planning is something very different. That 2.5 weeks of planning ran counter to everything I believe in, every conviction I had about the purpose of lesson planning. There was nothing in not only my mind, but there was nothing in my soul that I could wrap around that. So I had to go to him, but not in front of my administrative colleagues in grandstand. I went to him privately, a private meeting in his office, to explain to him why this was a setback for me and not a move forward. Because I believe in short-term planning, not just in lesson planning, but in life. Those of you who have heard me do goal setting seminars, then you know that within those goal setting seminars, I talk about this short-term planning, these little chunks of planning, these short-term goals, short-term plans, not some long, lofty plan, but what's the plan to get from Monday to Friday? I'm not even talking about school right now. I'm talking about life. What's the plan to get from the beginning of January to the end of January? What's the plan to get from the first week in January to the end of the second week of January? Whatever it is, chunks. And my mother's on here right now. She's the one that taught me this. And I ran with it. She knows. I ran with it. Right? That's that taking that plan and turning it into chunks. So the lesson plan, the weekly plan, was chunks to get to the big goal of academic success by the end of the year. But I can't have these chunks to be too big, like you having a meal. So you fit on the fork as much as you could fit on the fork to put in your mouth. You could fit more on the fork if you piled the fork high. And that's still a chunk, but it's too big of a chunk to be trying to jam in your mouth. So you make that chunk small enough that you could take a small portion of what you're eating, put it in your mouth, chew it well, swallow it, and then go to the next chunk. Not take a big chunk, put it in your mouth, right? You're still a chunk, but it's too big of a chunk. Now you can't even chew that thing. I know my mother just laughed, right? You can't even chew that thing. You got too much in your mouth. You can't even enjoy your meal because your mouth full of food. Well, it's the same thing with your lesson planning or any goals. Small chunk. Swallow that. Now I can go to the next chunk. Well, with lesson planning, I don't want no big chunk that I can't swallow. Give me that smaller chunk. Let me eat that. And then I'll go to the next one. So now here he came with something. Let me just read the question to you again. How would you handle it if your district launched a new initiative that ran counter to your leadership convictions? I not only disagreed with this thing ran counter to my convictions. Do you hear me? I'm sitting in the meeting like, oh my God. I'm looking at my colleagues and I could read them. They good with it. Like, it ain't no big deal. But I don't know how much they put into lesson planning. I don't know. I never asked them. I don't know if they sat up on Monday night reading lesson plans all night. I never asked them. That was my routine. I'm reading plans all freaking night in my office at my desk. So I don't want to read no 2 weeks of plans. But that's not the reason I contested it. I contested because it just didn't make sense. So I went to my soup, man, and my soup said, I hear you, Kafele. You making sense. We'll scratch that. Now he scratched it for my school. I think they kept it in place for the others, but I don't care about the others. I care about what's happening in the school led by Kafele. See, so he scratched that. And I didn't have to do it. So I guess I'm saying two things at once. I'm saying three things. Number one, it ran counter to my conviction. Number two, I spoke about it with tact. See, I ain't getting no tit for tat with him, right? I spoke about it the way I needed to. But number three, I safeguarded my conviction. See, and that's key. I safeguarded my conviction. We did not miss a beat. I protected it. How about you? Next one. Would you conform? Watch this, y'all. Would you conform for the greater good, knowing that an initiative runs counter to everything that you stand for, believe in, and hold dear? Or would you hold your ground? Let's try that one again. Would you conform for the greater good, knowing that an initiative runs counter to everything that you stand for, believe in, and hold dear? Or would you hold your ground? I'll use the same situation. Had I lost that battle, I wasn't going to abandon my kids. I wasn't going to abandon my staff. I would have been there, but I would have continued to work on that superintendent. I wouldn't have abandoned my fight. I would have continued to work on it. I'm not going to throw up my hands like, okay, later for this. No, because I knew, because it was a conviction, I knew that if we transitioned to his plan, it was going to be a setback for us. I knew that. There's no doubt, no doubt in my mind based on the way that I led. How about yourself? So then my concluding question: how are you protecting your convictions? Right? What are you doing? I'm saying that the protecting of your convictions starts first with your attitude. That I'm not letting you're not going to steer me away from what I stand on. That's your attitude. That's your emotions. But now you've got to move strategically to whatever the situation is, and it could be a zillion different things, that I'm going to work strategically to ensure that my convictions are my reality. Not that my convictions are outside of my essence. See, I can't live that way. As a teacher, as a principal, as an AP, I can't live that way, that I have convictions, but they're on the outside of me. I'm like looking at them, right? Oh, I see you, conviction. No, I need that conviction to be in me. And as I move, it moves with me. Not it's standing stationary over there, but I'm moving in another direction. So that's something that each of us, we have to work on. I can say definitively, confidently, I got to that point. I mean, forget I got to that point. I that's who I was. Anybody that knows me, you find these Jersey people, and they will tell you, right? I am who I am, and you got to be who you are. I'm not asking you to go to your schools and be reckless and uncompromising. That's not the purpose of this academy. It's to say you have to figure out how to maneuver. That's what I'm saying. I ain't asking you to go in there and be revolutionary. I'm asking you to think deeply on how you will maneuver so that you can walk in your convictions. Enough said. I told you I'm gonna cover 3 words only: conviction, optimism, and persistence. So let's go to optimism. Letter B. How am I protecting my leadership optimism? That's a big one, because it's easy to be on the outside looking in as a teacher, and you got your sights set on, I want to be principal one day. And when they put me in that school, I'm turning that place around. I'm going to do my thing, all that kind of stuff. And then you get in there and you see the challenges and you act like you didn't know it was this hard. That's what a lot of people do. Like, man, this is overwhelming. And I say to them, I've said it on here. You didn't know that? You thought this was easy? You didn't know that those behaviors exist in your school amongst children? You didn't know these behaviors exist in school amongst adults? You didn't know that there's conflict on some staffs with adults? You didn't know that there's all this and that, and I'll just leave it at those words. This and that goes on with adults in the school. I won't get specific with that. Just this and that. This and that can happen in your. You didn't know that? You telling me you learned this when you got to the job? Then you didn't do your homework. You didn't realize what this is. See, that thing that you said, if they hire me, I'm going to get it done. You didn't know what get it done means. Nah, man. Some of these schools, you starting at ground zero. Some of these schools got some problems, man. So before you step in there, know what you stepping into. Don't just be money motivated. Oh man, it's going to double, triple my salary. No. Because you could have double, triple salary, but the stress of the job is killing you, and you ain't going to be making that money. And when I say killing, I meant that literal, by the way. The stress of that job can be killing you slowly. So I'm saying to you, no, you got to know what you're getting yourself into, and then ask yourself, am I even built for this? Am I even wired for this? Do I really have what it takes to create the leadership that can turn this ship around? That this becomes a place that everybody would want their children. So I'm putting that in the context of optimism. So yes, be optimistic. Protect your optimism, but know what it is that you're being optimistic about, because everyone's not built for no principal leadership. It's a lot of APs in America that will admit with zero hesitation, I'm not built for a principal. I'm a great AP. That's my place. That's my lane. I know my lane. And I'm always going to be great at being number 2. I'm not built for number 1. There are people that know that. And there are people that have no qualms with admitting that. So when we talk about you being optimistic, make sure that you know what it is you're being optimistic about, right? So let's go. I got 2 examples for you. Students are underperforming under your leadership. Hit that share button, hit that retweet, let them know, man, I'm on fire, man. Children are underperforming under your leadership. So you're in the school now. And either the scores have decreased, or the scores were already low and they're not getting high. They're not increasing. I'm asking you, I'm saying in my example, I should say, students are underperforming under your leadership. Are you able to maintain optimism that despite the fact that they're underperforming right now, I still got this? That's what I'm saying to you. See, are you able to maintain that optimism? Have you safeguarded? Have you protected it? I've been in wars in education. I tell y'all all the time, but I know I see a lot of names I don't recognize. So we got some new folks on here. So I've been in wars, man. But one thing about them wars, I'm proud of my wars. I really am. I'm proud of them. I don't shy from them. I'm trying to do this little mini documentary to tell y'all about them. I just haven't found the time to do it, but I'm trying. But I'm proud of my wars. But I'm gonna tell you something. Them wars never sapped me of my convictions or my optimism. Never. I never got to a point, man, maybe these kids can achieve. Maybe they can't do it. Maybe these teachers can't take these youngsters to those levels, right? Maybe they can't. I never got there. I'm not wired that way. Once I believe something, I own it. Doesn't mean I'm not going to evolve, but I'll evolve. I won't devolve, right? I'm not going to devolve into something that I'm not. I'm going to maintain that optimism as to what that school can become, what I can become, what the students can become, what the staff can become, but I'm going to put the right measures in place to make it happen. So that was the first example toward maintaining your optimism. Students are underperforming under your leadership. Did that sap you of your optimism? Next scenario, parents and community are losing faith in your leadership. Imagine that. That's real. Parents and community are losing faith in your leadership. All right, well, if they're losing faith, I'm going to listen to them because I want to know why. So I'm definitely going to give them my ear. However, what's not going to happen is me losing my optimism. I hear a lawnmower in my backyard and it's scaring me. I pay a guy to cut my grass because since that heart attack, I don't mess around with cutting grass no more. However, This guy been coming around here. I'm usually on the road. He been coming around here cutting my grass without asking, do we want it cut so he can get that money? I'm the only one home right now. So I hope that's not my backyard. I hope that's a neighbor, because I ain't leaving this screen. He cut my grass. He ain't getting nothing until I'm finished. Anyway, let's go. By the way, speaking of heart attack, y'all know it was my 9th anniversary on May 1st. Pray for me. Oh, that my wife said that's next door. Okay, thank you. Thank you. She's not here. She just knows when she left that they were cutting the grass next door. Okay, because he ain't getting that money, man. All right, here we go. So I got these few questions for you. I said 5, but it's actually 7, right? We go quicker than I did on conviction. Here's my optimism questions. And I decided that for optimism, I want to put them in the context of the AP, because even though I'm the AP and New Principals Academy host, I don't want to ever lose sight of the AP. And sometimes I do, and I'm talking all this principal stuff. AP, hear me. But principal, if you have an AP, then this is for you as well. Hey, AP, are you optimistic about your ongoing development as a leader? Let's say you're in one of them bad situations, right? Your situation could be bad. You could be a little angry, a little teed off, as they say. But your optimism, you can't lose that. Can't lose that. Yeah, you could be a little upset. Man, this person ain't letting me grow. This person is not letting me do this and that. I'm not learning leadership. I'm doing discipline all day. I'm working in the cafeteria all day. I'm not being exposed to budgeting. I'm not an instructional leader. I'm not being exposed to so many other facets of leadership. But don't lose your optimism. Know that good things are right around the corner for you. Know that. Know that. I'm going to say it again. Know that. I'm going to say it one more time. Know that. You can't lose that. Because matter of fact, I probably need to say it a few more times, because I know it's somebody on the thread right now. There's something like jolted me. It made me know there's someone on this thing that said, "Hey, man, you talking to me?" Because I'm not. This is not a good experience. I'm talking to APs right now. You're saying it's not a good experience. I'm not enjoying this. I'm not enjoying my year. This has been my worst year. Those teaching years, I love them. This first year as an AP, I'm not liking this. I'm contemplating going back into the classroom. I'm contemplating finding another district. Well, that goes along with a good fit. But let's put that to the side. I'm contemplating going back to the classroom. Hang on, pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. I hear you. I understand you. But do not lose your optimism. Know that your day is coming. Know that good things are on the horizon. That's mental. I'm not asking you to be some kind of seer. I'm asking you to know mentally that you just like on the spiritual realm we call it expectancy, right? Anticipation, and that you have a level of expectancy. And I'm gonna tell you, I try not to get spiritual and religious on here, and I won't do it today. But I am gonna say this. When I wake up in the morning, y'all, I have expectancy because I trust God. I ain't gonna get religious, y'all. Somebody said you already in it. Listen, I trust God, man. So I wake up, man. I'm expecting miracles. And I'm gonna tell you something. I just want to make I want to make myself clear on that part, because someone might be confused. If someone reaches out to me and says, "We want you to speak at our event," that's the expectancy. That's one of the expectancies I'm talking about. That's like practically a miracle. Let me tell you why. Someone might say, "But you're a speaker. Why would you call it a miracle?" Because there's a million speakers out here. There's a million speakers out here. Half y'all speak because I see the names up there. But you decided, of all the speakers, all the continents, you went to Principal Kafele. For me, I'm just speaking for me now because I don't want to offend nobody. That's God. It's a million. I mean, all the people on earth that happen to speak. I don't know what the numbers is. I know it's got to be in the millions. Different levels. But of the millions of people you saw fit, you said, "I'm calling Principal Kafele. I'm emailing Principal Kafele, and I'm going to pay him to come." but I want y'all to hear something, man. That's right. That's right, boss educators. Favor. I want you to hear this. I don't like be wishing for that. See, we talking optimism. I'm just trying to give you context. I'm not wishing for the call. I'm not wishing like, oh my God, I hope someone reaches out today to invite me to speak. Because I want to speak, I want to teach, I want to motivate, I want to inspire, I want to empower, but I also need to make this money because this is the only job I have. I don't do that. I don't never do that. We ain't being cocky either. I expect that there are going to be emails on my computer saying, Principal Kafele, we want you to come and speak at our event. I expect that. I anticipate that because my optimism that is going to happen is so high. I hope you heard me. I'm trying to read y'all's comments. That's why you see me looking in that direction. I'm trying to read what y'all saying, right? See, I ain't here to teach Bible and all that, y'all. You know, I that ain't what I do. But I will say, you step different when you expect versus when you wish. That's Dr. Houston said the promises of God are real. That's all I'm trying to say. She just said it better. See, Renee said you better preach, man. Listen, I'm gonna say it again. The one who walks in expectancy walks differently from the one who wishes for results. That's a different swag, man. That's a different step. That's a different head up, chest out, shoulders back. It's just a different way to conduct oneself, man. So I'm tying that into optimism and being optimistic that it's going to happen for you, right? It's going to you keep that feeling of promise. Yes, it's going to happen. I feel good about it. Right? That's all I'm saying. So I'm saying, hey, assistant principal, are you optimistic about your ongoing development as a leader? So if that principal and anyone else in your district is not developing you, you can develop yourself and you can align yourself with other people who can assist you in the process. But you can't let this be compromised, your optimism. Number 2, are you optimistic about the possibility for advancement to the principalship? Now, if you're one who aspires to become principal, I'm talking to you. If you're not, then I'm not talking to you. Just sit through this for a second. You can never lose that. You can never lose that. You've got to know that there's a school, there's a district, there's a superintendent who not only wants me, but needs me. But that school, that district, that superintendent may not be a stone's throw away from you. See, some of us, we just trying to work in that little city where we live, that little county where we live. You might have to tell the fam we getting ready to pack up. We gonna chase opportunity. I was listening to this interview the other day with the rapper T.I. I hope I don't misquote him. And the interviewer said his name is old rapper Willie D. Somebody said, "Why you that's the kind of stuff you listen to?" Yeah, man. I stay connected to the hip hop, man. The kids are listening to hip hop. Drake dropped rhymes, diss tracks last night, and so did Kendrick Lamar. I know about that, and guess what? I listened to him this morning early. Now I keep up with it. I'm an educator. How can I divorce myself from the world of the children? If they listening to it, I need to listen to it because I need to know what's going on. Right? So he said, Willie D said to T.I., he said, "How you doing?" He said, "I'm good. I'm moving at the speed of opportunity." I was like, whoa. I did it like it took me aback. I'm like, whoa. The speed of opportunity. That I said, I gotta own that one. Because that's how I'm moving. That's the same frequency I'm moving on. Right? The speed of opportunity. Right? So I'm saying to you, I see you, Danielle K-Part. She said, you on my toes, can't grow weary in this work, or of the mindset that there's only one system that needs what we have to offer. There it is. There it is. See, so if in this town, this city, this municipality, y'all ain't letting it happen for me. All right, it's this world is vast. my talent, my skill set will work somewhere. Y'all laughed at LeBron when he said, "I'm taking my talents to South Beach." Well, let's revisit that. Ain't you going to take your talent somewhere else if this place doesn't accept your talent? LeBron got tired of Cleveland. They weren't building a team around him where he could win. So he said, "I'm taking my talents to South Beach." And everybody made a big fuss about it. The flaw in LeBron's career is when he said, "I'm taking my talents to South Beach," instead of just going down there. Huh? What's wrong with it? I thought there was a lesson in it myself. He made it very public. Y'all ain't doing right by this superstar, meaning himself. Right? The chosen one, as they call him. Y'all ain't doing right by me. So I'll take my talents elsewhere, to South Beach. And when he got to South Beach, he went to the finals 4 times and won 2 rings. Some of y'all, you leaving your talents in a place where your talents are not appreciated, not valued, not respected. I'll just stay here because it's only a 5-minute drive home. Huh? Get a new home. They got nice houses in other cities. You can stay in touch with your family. They got Zoom. Right? So, take your talents somewhere else if your talents are not being realized where you are. That's all. Enough said. Let me go to this next one. AP, are you optimistic? I said that one. Are you optimistic that your assistant principalship is only a stop on your way to the principalship? See, let me holler at somebody. I know you out here. You watching. I see you, Shauna B. You watching. I see you, Donna, and I appreciate you always. I see you. See, let me read that one again. Are you optimistic that your assistant principalship is only a stop on your way to the principalship? Some of y'all, man, y'all like, man, I don't know now, because my situation's just not good. Now that's you. That's you sapping yourself out of opportunity. That's what you're doing. You are sapping yourself out of opportunity. I see you, Deacon Broughton. I see you. That's my wife's father. He in the building. Deacon Broughton in the building. You sapping yourself out of opportunity, man. You can't let the stimuli outside of you dictate who you are. You can't let the stimuli outside of you determine your fate, determine your destination. That is silly. There's stuff happening around you. So just learn how to maneuver within it. But don't let it stop you. Don't let it sap you. Maintain your optimism. Deacon Broughton, I see you. Because I got that third eye. So I hope you hear me, somebody, because I don't know that I'm talking to everybody on this one. I'm talking to the depressed people. I'm talking to the down and out people. I'm talking to the pessimistic people. I'm talking to the defeatist people. I'm talking to the people who feel like I'm losing the game. That's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to them people right now, right? You tuned in for a word. Well, I'm giving you that word. You tuned in for a word. I even gave you some guide on this one. Right? You tune in for a word, I'm giving you that word, but then you're going to have to run on it. You're going to have to run with it. Right? So if it's negativity around you, that can't define you. Some of y'all let the mess around you, the crap around you define you. That is crazy. That's crazy talk. That's crazy thinking. That you're going to allow the world around you to define you, define your optimism? No. Regardless of what's happening around you, You have to be the master of your own destiny. You have to control your own destiny through your optimism about yourself and what's on the horizon for you. I'm going to say it again. I wake up in the morning with expectancy. I wake up in the morning with anticipation. I ain't no superstar. I ain't great. I'm just a dude, man. Do you hear me? I'm just a dude trying to get his. I'm just a dude trying to live my purpose. That's all I am. You don't see me on television. You don't hear me on radio. You just see me on your phone. That's a good place to be, though, in 2024. I tell you that. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes, because I know people be trying to get on TV. I'm like, why? Why? Nobody's watching TV anymore. They're watching their phones. They're glued to them. It's like their phone is an attachment to their hand. You want to get on their phone, not their TV. They ain't looking at their TV. And when they turn on their TV, they really looking at their phone. Y'all ain't hear that. A speaker out there that wants to get to my level. You didn't hear what I just said. You missed that. It went like this. You try, Kafele, man, I want to get to your level, man. You seem like you always speaking. All right, well, I just gave you one of my secrets. I just gave it to you. What you going to do with it? All right, y'all, let me go. Next one. Are you optimistic that your talents and skill set are known by the decision makers in your district? Let me say that again. Are you optimistic that your talents and skill set are known by the decision makers in your district? Before I address this, because there's so many names on here that I don't know, do know that on my AP and New Principals Academy YouTube channel, I did give all my secrets to becoming a professional speaker, 9 hours worth of secrets. They're all in the 5 videos. And I gave 5 hours to becoming a best-selling author since I've written I'm writing my 15th book. I got 7 bestsellers. No, it's not 7. I got 9 bestsellers. So I gave all my secrets, didn't charge you a dime. All I'm asking you for is your time. Right? That's on the YouTube channel. Here we go. Are you optimistic about your talents and skill set? Are you optimistic that your talents and skill set are known by the decision makers in your district? Here's what I'm saying. I'm giving it more secrets, more secrets. Hey, somebody, put your ear to the speaker on this one. When you decide you want to start interviewing, or if you started, I want you to remember something. You're not the only one interviewing. It's other people interviewing. It's maybe hundreds of people when you talk about people from other cities, other towns interviewing for a job in your district. What's going to distinguish you? Well, in the context of this, here, let me give you the question again. Are you optimistic that your talents and skill set are known by the decision makers in your district? I ain't never worked nowhere or interviewed nowhere where the people doing the interviewing were not familiar with Principal Kafele. I ain't never walked in no interview blind or with them blind to me. I've never walked in an interview and your introduction to me was a resume. Y'all ain't hear me, man. Hey, AP, hear me. I've never walked in an interview and I was a stranger in the room. I never walked in an interview and the people, their first inkling of me was the resume and the application. Nah, man. I made sure they knew me. When I walked in that interviewing room, it's like an old friend walked in. I'm cracking myself up sitting in this house by myself. I be turning red when I laugh, man. I ain't never know that till I started doing these broadcasts. I need that tan, man. Let me get out in that sun and get that tan. Right? Listen, I ain't never walked in an interview and they didn't know me, man. It's like a family member walked in the room. Man, Kafele, what you saying, man? What you saying? I'm saying you gonna have to know something about me before I get in, just like I'm gonna know something about you before I go there. How about that? Because it's not just you interviewing me, I'm interviewing you. See, you got to switch your thinking. See, you thinking, I want this job, I want this job. Now you got to be in your mind, they need me. They need me. See, you got to switch that, baby. You got to think differently, man. See, I want y'all to hear me on something, man. This thought just popped in my head. Remember we was talking about being authentic. I know clients watch this broadcast. I know that. And I know that, you know, in them checking me out is going to weigh into if they're going to ask me to come and speak. So wouldn't you think that when I'm on here, I would be a lot more like stuffy and professional, and I would speak to you like this with authority. Like Vincent, let me holler at you real quick. Like Vincent, did you check out the game last night? And did you see the way that the Mavericks, they were very, very methodical in how they went about securing that victory last night? And Kyrie put up a strong 30 points in his effort. See, in other words, y'all, if I know the clients are watching, you would think I would come across like, you know, real stuffy and professional and all. Nah, man. Nah. I got to be me, baby. You know, I gotta be me. And if I can't be me and be able to secure those engagements, then I'm not the one. But I ain't gonna fake the funk, man. Like if I'm trying, you would think I wouldn't use an expression like that, right? Like hey, he's saying fake the funk, and he trying to get them big keynotes. Yeah, man. I'm gonna keep this thing real, man. I'm gonna be me, and hopefully the client says, man, I love Kafele's authenticity. Like this dude just, he know, like everybody see this stuff, right? But he like being really laughing and speaking in ebonics and slang and all that stuff, man. Yeah, man. When I gotta go, I gotta go to the mirror at some point. I gotta be pleased with who I see. What you say, Joyce? And shout out to the friends who take you with them. There you go. There you go. Let's go. All right, y'all. Let me get serious, y'all, because I'm gonna try to wrap it up real soon. Are you? Oh, by the way, y'all, I'm gonna do the BAM impact questions. I'm gonna ask myself them questions, so y'all don't want to miss that, right? The BAM impact questions, them one-word questions, answers. I'm gonna give you my answers. Y'all ain't never got that before. 4 years, I never gave you them answers from me. I'm doing that. I was gonna ask my wife to go on and have her ask me, but then I figured she could. I ain't going on there, so I'm gonna do it myself, right? So anyway, I know she heard me too, right? So here we go. And if you do want to go on and ask me the questions, Kim, I'll send you the link right now, right? So let's see if she show up in the thread, right? So here we go. Are you optimistic that your school is on the right path in part due to your leadership? See, you got to know that. You got to know that this school is moving forward because I'm here. But you got to have that optimism. You can't be like, it's not me. You can't have imposter syndrome, right? Like you doing your thing, but your self-esteem is such that that can't be because of me. Imposter syndrome is I'm gonna use this language, is a mother, right? It's a mother, right? You can't look at your greatness and feel like it's not you. No, you're great. It's happening because of you, and you got to know that. You got to know that, right? So, are you optimistic that your school is on the right path due to your leadership? So you have to protect that. That's the whole thing. You got to safeguard that. You got to know that I'm doing things. You may not be doing all the things you want to do, but I'm doing things. And I know that things are happening because I'm here. Like I remember, I'll be laughing at this to myself couple years ago, everybody was on Kyrie Irving. Oh, Kyrie, boo. Kyrie Irving, boo. He's a problem. He's this, he's that. He wouldn't take the vaccine. All this stuff. Ain't nobody saying that no more. Let me get up in this camera. Basketball fans, y'all ain't saying that no more. That man is a bad man. And he understands that backseat role to Luka. He good with that. I see it. But Luka said the other day, I let Kyrie down. See, y'all, see Kyrie. So in other words, Kyrie epitomizes this session. He stayed true to his convictions. Did he not? He maintained his optimism. All you got to do is watch the game and see that boy going off, doing stuff that we ain't never seen a basketball player do with a basketball in the history of this game. He's a magician. And then my next word will be persistence, right? You want to see the epitome of conviction, optimism, persistence in a basketball game? Watch Kyrie Irving. It's right there, right? It's right there. Yep. Solon said Kyrie is the man, period. Jersey, right? So here we go. Next one, last one on this category. Next to last one on this category. Are you optimistic that a school will one day be in a good place because you will one day be its principal? And you know, one thing that's making me sick right now, I spent all this time writing these questions down, putting them in the thread, and I forgot to use them. Oh, well, right. I forgot. They all there. I'll do it for the last set on persistence. Are you optimistic that a school will one day be in a good place because you will one day be its principal? Hey, somebody out there, you got to know that right now. But I'll go back to what I said before. Do your research. Know these schools. Know what's going on in the schools. Know what the challenges are in the schools. Don't necessarily base, what you think you know about a school on some extreme, like somebody posts some video of a teacher and a student fighting. Don't let that form your basis, right? Those videos are out there. I know it, but don't let that be, okay, my understanding of school is this little 2-minute video I just watched. No. That's an aberration. That's an extreme. They ain't that bad, right? So there are issues, but you got to go in there knowing. Let me read that question again. Are you optimistic that a school will one day be in a good place because you will one day be its principal? You got to know that. You got to protect that with everything you got. You got to claim that. You got to believe that. You got to embrace that. You got to walk in that. That's how you protect it. You don't let somebody tell you, oh, this school will never be successful. Oh, these children will never be motivated. Oh, this neighborhood will never be conducive to these children walking in with the right attitude. All that mess that people say. No, you got to know that, my presence is going to change that. My presence is going to go in there, and not you per se, but your leadership. And that's always the difference. Your leadership will go in there and bring about that change that you're looking for, right? Because your leadership will be felt in every corner of that building, every space in that building. Your leadership will be present. Your leadership will be evident. I got one more category, and that's persistence. It's shorter, and then I'm gonna get to them BAM impact questions, and then I'm gonna close it out. Here we go. How am I protecting my leadership persistence? Right. Remember, I told you I got 10 categories, but I'm only sharing 3 today, and then I'll get to the next 3 on my birthday week. That's the next time I go solo, October 26th, live from Montego Bay, Jamaica. But here we go. How am I protecting my leadership persistence? I got two examples, as I did with the previous 2. Number 1, you are committed to defying the odds despite the pessimism that's out there. Once again, you are committed to defying the odds despite the pessimism that's out there. So in other words, there's pessimism out there that they don't believe in you. They don't believe in your students. They don't believe in your staff. They don't believe in your school. They don't believe in anything about your school. But you got this persistent mind. You got this mind that I'm coming. I'm coming. Ain't nothing going to stop me. I'm coming. You got teachers in the building that have never experienced success in their lives in terms of collectively as a school. They don't know what that is. Right? They have no idea. but the test scores have always been low. Success has always been low. Honor roll has always been low. Awards has always been low. Like they don't know anything about that. But you said, I'm here now, and I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. That persistence. And then you're going to instill that in your staff. Little chunks I talked about before. Not like you ain't gonna throw the whole thing at them at one time, because they'll never be able to embrace that. It's too big. Right? You're just gonna throw some chunks at them. Like so that they can experience little chunks of success, right? Set them up for success. That's what we call that. Set them up for success by letting them experience little chunks of success. So now you got this little success right here. All right, good. They got this little chunk. Let me take them to another level right here, right? They got that. They feeling good. Let's take them right here, right? Oh yeah, they got that. Let's take them to another level, right? See, we ain't going here. We ain't doing no Drake 0 to 100 real quick. That don't work, right? We going a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and we keep it going, 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 till we get right up here somewhere. Because now they've tasted success. They know what it tastes like. They know what it smells like. They know what it feels like. So now they become believers. Because now I see what you're talking about. See, but you come in there, you got that persistent mindset, but you come in there, we gonna be the highest performing school in the entire state. But right now they one of the lowest. They can't hear that. They can't hear that. So you're going to be persistent in the little victories, like Luther said, I'm going to take my time singing these love songs, baby. The little victories, until now we could really realistically talk about the big victory. See, that's how that's done. So I said, you're committed to defying the odds despite the pessimism that's out there, and you're going to show them, but you got to have your staff on board. And that's where them little victories come in. And then they winning, and then you win in their confidence at the same time, because they see that what you're doing is working. But then my second example, you are committed to that next level position despite the roadblocks. So now you that AP again, and you say, man, I can't seem to get the job. I've been interviewing. I've been reading all these books. I'm reading Kafele's books. I'm watching AP Academy. I'm watching the AP videos that Kafele put out there, and I ain't getting the job. But I might ask you, what about your persistence? What about your optimism? What about your convictions, right? Are you taking too long of breaks in between because you discouraged, or are you just coming at them? But every time you don't get the job, are you asking someone why you didn't get the job? Are you getting feedback? See, if you don't get feedback, you have no data. That's like doing anything with no data, making emotional decisions, right? Imagine in the sports world, they do everything without data, meaning film, right? And actual data, right? They just moving on emotions. You can't do life on emotions. I'm gonna say that again. You cannot do life on emotions, right? You got to have data. You got to be informed. Your decisions have to be informed. So you got to have data. So I'm saying to you, when you go on an interview and you don't land a position, you might have to be persistent in finding out, what is it that I did wrong? Maybe it had nothing to do with you. Maybe it was all politics. You didn't get the job because the board president's nephew got the job. All right, well, you ain't gonna own that, and they're not gonna tell you that. But they got to tell you something. And if they can't tell you anything, then you know it's something bigger than you. You know that, right? Because they got to be able to tell you something. I'm gonna say that again. They've got to be able to tell you something. If they like, I don't know. All right, then here's what they're saying without saying. It was political. They can't tell you that. But you could best believe that if they got nothing to say, they can't tell you anything. It was political. It was a political appointment. That's all. So you don't even worry about that. Brush that off and keep moving, right? Keep moving, right? But each time you go, if you don't get it, ask questions. Okay, what kept me from getting it? But I might also say to you, if you haven't watched my interview videos for the assistant principalship or the principalship, you might want to go and watch them. But don't just watch part 1 and say, okay, I got it. Watch part 1 and 2. Right? Some people, because I can look at the numbers. People get lazy. They watch part 1 and then they don't go and follow up and watch part 2. So you're missing stuff. Watch them both. Be persistent with that. Right? So I got these 5 questions. I'm gonna go through them quickly, and I'm gonna get to my BAM questions. How are you protecting your persistence? Right? And we kind of been talking about that, right? So I don't have to go in depth with that. But you got to be cognizant of the fact that you got to keep moving forward. right? So ask yourself, what are the circumstances around me? What are the situations around me? What are the people around me? What is happening that I don't have the circumstance, that I don't have the persistence that I once had? What are those things around me that have seeped into my life, have creeped into my life, have creeped into my space, that I'm not bringing the conviction, the optimism, the persistence in this regard that I had or that I need, right? You got to protect it. Not protect you. You got to protect it. You got to protect the persistence that you had safeguarded from being compromised, right? From being compromised. Number two, how are you preventing the challenges that accompany leadership from compromising your persistence? Well, first and foremost, knowing that the challenges exist. You're not going into a challenge-free environment as a school leader. You're going into an environment that's replete with challenges, and you got to ask yourself, can I handle challenges? Am I built to handle challenges? Am I wired to handle challenges? Can I think on my toes? Can I handle 10 different things coming at me at the same time? Because that's what it is, right? Until you get that school to where you needed to be, then, once you get it to where you needed to be, then you can coast. You can do one thing and be great at it and not have to worry about all these other things happening because you got all that in place now. I'm talking about when you new to something, you got a lot of things coming at the same time. You got 20 different teachers got issues and complaints they want to raise with you. You got parents that got issues and complaints they want to raise. You got the children themselves, and then you got the rest of the job. You got to be built for that. But you got to have the persistence to get better at dealing with it, right? So therefore, you got to protect it. You got to safeguard it. That matters. And that is conditioning your mind to know that this is temporary, right? That you're going to continue to be deliberate about your growth and development as a leader, that you'll get the culture of the school to a point where you don't have a million people coming at you at the same time. You don't have a million situations and challenges coming at you at the same time, because you have completely transformed the culture of that building, right? So there's been a metamorphosis of the culture, and now the culture is such that you can be the instructional leader that you've always wanted to be. But you got to protect your persistence in making it better. You can't give up. You can't throw in the flag or the white towel. I can't do that. I ain't built for this. No, persistence. Boom, 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 boom. I'm coming. Ain't nothing gonna stop me. That's got to be the mindset. Next one. How are you keeping your motivation high to continue to move forward even in difficult times? And this is an easy one. I can do this quick. Oh, they playing music loud outside. Oh my God. The motivation, if you lose your motivation, it's because you lost your purpose. So motivation is not the issue at this point, at this juncture. The issue at this juncture is your purpose. You lost your why. And because you lost your why, your motivation is lost along with it. So the question is, I hold true to the question, how are you keeping your motivation high to continue to move forward even during difficult times? Well, you got to go back and find your why. And you might say, well, I know my why. Yeah, but are you walking in your why? Is your why close to your heart? Is your why close to the vest? Are you and your why synonymous? Or have you veered from your why? Have you deviated from your why? Right? You gotta go to your mirror and you gotta ask yourself, you gotta have a conversation between you and your why. Am I still walking in my why? Because if you're not, you're not gonna have that motivation. That motivation's gone because your purpose is gone. Now, instead of walking into the school for this reason, a very narrow purpose, that this is why I'm in the school, you in the school because it's your job. Your mortgage is depending on it. Your car note is depending on it. Your children's tuition is depending on it. Your meals are depending on it. Your wife is dependent on it. So you're going into it now for the monetary, practical reasons, and you've lost sight of the work reason that you went in there in the first place. The why of the work. You got to get yourself back in touch with that. Next one. How are you maintaining your persistence when the decisions you make aren't necessarily being embraced by all. Once again, how are you maintaining your persistence when the decisions you make aren't necessarily being embraced by all? Well, that can be frustrating when you're making certain decisions, but you're the only one that agrees with them. So there's a few ways to look at that. Number one, you might want to look at your decisions and ask, are your decisions compatible with this school moving forward? But number two, you might want to ask, do I have a staff that's rocking with me? Right? So you're making decisions, but your staff said later for you. And see, I get to see that. I get to see it. I don't want to be too specific with that because it's part of my work. But I see where there's staff members, they're really not in tune with the leadership. Right? I see it. It's very evident in so many scenarios. I'm not going to give you none because then if those persons are watching right now, they'll know I'm talking about them. So we'll leave that alone. But I'll say this. After that swig of water, you have to, let me read the question again. How are you maintaining your persistence when the decisions you make aren't necessarily being embraced by all? There's a reason for that. And a lot of that is because you're leading people who do not necessarily subscribe to or buy into your leadership, right? So you got to look within and ask yourself, what is it about my leadership that it's not being embraced, right? You can't just point your finger to teachers all the time. You got to look at you. What is it about my leadership that my leadership is not necessarily being embraced by the whole, right? And then you start working on you, but you never lose that persistence, right? You still gonna be adamant about being effective, right? But you want to make sure that you're moving in a direction where it can be embraced by the entire staff, right? So make sure your ears are open, your eyes are open. You're asking questions, particularly in a staff meeting. You're asking questions when questions need to be asked. It doesn't hurt. Like my man here, Martez says, "What is it about my leadership?" That's not off base to ask that. That's not out of bounds to ask your staff, "What is it about my leadership? Where am I getting it wrong?" You remember, I had a former student on here, Ivana Wade, a few weeks ago, a month ago. And I said to her, when I was your principal, where did I get it wrong? That's not out of bounds. That's a legitimate question to ask. It's highly vulnerable. But if you're good with the person inside, right? You're good with you, then you can handle the question and whatever responses come from it. Right? So you got to protect that. And then my last one, how are you maintaining your persistence when your leadership reality goes through a rough patch, right? How are you handling your persistence when your leadership reality goes through a rough patch? Meaning things have been going well. And now here you find yourself in a very difficult situation, a very challenging situation. Many of you on here, you know a portion of my story. You don't know it all because I haven't given it to you all. But you know that 2004, 20 years ago, and this is why this is the year I want to do that little quasi documentary. I went through a rough patch. This was the year 20 years ago today. 20 years ago, I should say. It wasn't in May. It was in September that I faced my suspension for standing on my convictions and my termination hearing. Right? See, once again, my authentic self. I don't mind putting this out here publicly. I'm not worried about that compromising my ability to be hired as a speaker or a consultant. I have no issue with that whatsoever. The client's going to get my real authentic self. So when I faced that suspension, I was suspended, and then a termination hearing would follow the next week. The board voted unanimously that I should return to work the very next day after hearing the testimonies of all the people that spoke, including myself. I had done nothing wrong. I just decided that I wasn't going to tolerate my school being treated the way it was treated by my superior. I wasn't going to tolerate that. So I had to speak to it with tact, with dignity, but I had to speak to it. I had to address it as opposed to just taking it and letting it happen. Right. So I went through a rough patch. You know, when you find yourself on the television news for 3 consecutive days, as a principal under fire being suspended. See, not the principal on fire, the principal under fire. See, the headlines on the news said principal under fire, not principal on fire. So I was under fire, but I went through a rough patch. So the question is asking you, how are you maintaining your persistence when your leadership reality goes through a rough patch? They were breaking me. I probably at some point was broken because it was so overwhelming with the media, the news. It wasn't social media yet because it didn't exist yet. But you had the television, you had the radio news, you had the newspaper news. I was a headline story, right? So I'm going through a rough patch, but I never stopped believing in myself. I never stopped fighting, right? I stayed persistent. My convictions stood firm, right? My optimism stood firm. My persistence stood firm, right? Because I protected them. I safeguarded them. So you can come at me. You can come at me with these newspapers. You can come at me with this television news. You can come at me with this radio news. You can come at me with the gossip in the streets. But my convictions, my optimism, my persistence were intact because I safeguarded them. I had them locked down, right? Protected. You can't touch that. You can go after my job. You can render me unemployed, but you cannot touch my convictions. You cannot touch my optimism. You cannot touch my persistence. See, protected. Boom. See, so again, I'm not telling you to be me. That would be reckless. I'm telling you what I did, right? You got to figure out how you will handle a rough patch based on how you're built, how you're wired, how you're structured. But the point in even bringing it up is you have to think about it. You can't be a principal and not anticipate rough patches. They're coming. I don't mind saying that with conviction. They're coming. I don't know what they're going to look like, but they're coming. Your principalship from start to finish is not going to be gravy. You're going to hit some roadblocks. You're going to hit some dead end signs. You're going to come across some people that come into the district, for example, that weren't there. They come in new and they got to establish themselves, and they see you and they say, I don't like the way that person rolls. I don't like how that person gets down. Let me clamp them down a little bit. It could be personal, just they don't like your personality. I'm preaching to somebody right now because this is real. So your personality. So now they coming after you. Everything been good with everybody else over the years, but now this new person comes in and something about the two of you don't click and you can't put your finger on it. But now you find yourself, man, I'm in a bad situation. I'm stressed. I'm coming to work in a bad situation. Well, those 3 words I just used, they can come after you. They can. They do whatever they try to do. But your conviction, they can't have that. Your optimism, they can't have that. Your persistence, they can't have that. That's not up for sale. That's not up for grabs. Of course, I have more, but that's for later dates. I only got time for these 3. They can't have that. Stalin said, there ain't always sunshine and roses, right? They can't have that. So somebody out there, if I could just, let me holler at you real quick, and then I'm gonna move to my BAM impact questions. I'm gonna close out. Narisha Tate said, oh my God, speak. So that tells me I'm talking to somebody out there, right? Listen, I could use so many other words. I just want to stay true to today's theme, that it's not going to be all gravy, y'all. Yeah, it could be that scenario that I gave you. It's someone new comes in. It could be a new superintendent, a new assistant superintendent, a new principal, and your AP, whatever it is. And for whatever reason, y'all don't mesh. Y'all don't mesh like you did with the previous supervisor. All right. So so first and foremost, you got to learn how to maneuver that, right? But I'm saying within that, and as you learn how to maneuver, that means you got to talk to people that you can trust, right? There are people out here who have experienced what you've already experienced. So maybe you need to talk to them and they give you some tips on how they dealt with a similar situation. But I would strongly advise you or discourage you from not trying to fight that battle by yourself. I didn't fight mine by myself. And since I mentioned it, I'll just say this much. A whole city fought for me. I sat home and watched TV. I was suspended. A whole city fought because I had aligned myself with a whole city, right? But beyond East Orange, New Jersey, it was almost like a whole state was fighting for me. New York City was fighting for me. Philadelphia was fighting for me. Parts of Connecticut. I had love from all over this tri-state area, right? Because it had got the media attention. So people knew about it. They wouldn't have ordinarily known about it. So I had all this love from all over the place. So all I had to do was sit home and wait for my hearing. They were fighting. They were at the board marching, carrying my students were marching, all that kind of stuff. So I'm saying that to say that was part of the maneuvering. But I'm going to go to that big three again. My convictions. Because my convictions got me in trouble. All I had to do was acquiesce and we would have been fine. But I stood on my convictions. My convictions. You can't have those. They ain't up for grabs. My optimism. They weren't up for grabs either. My persistence. It was not up for grabs. I maintain that. That's what you got to do. Your fight ain't my fight. So again, I'm not on here trying to get somebody in trouble and you try to fight like I did. My fight is my fight, right? You look at any boxer. I'll go old school on this one because I don't keep up with modern boxing anymore. That's something I got away from. Let me go old school. Mike Tyson, minus the time he bit Evander Holyfield. Just we'll block that fight out. You never seen another fighter like him. He fought his fight his way. Let's go Muhammad Ali. He fought his fight his way. You've never seen anything like that ever. Joe Frazier, I'm going old school, y'all. He fought his fights his way. You've never seen another Joe Frazier. You've never seen an imitation of that. George Foreman, Ken Norton, right? I can go on and on. You've never seen an imitation of those guys. They fought their fight their way, right? Well, you got to fight your fight your way. You can't imitate somebody else. You can't emulate somebody else. You got to figure out how you're going to do this fight. And then you fight your way, your way. But you can't relinquish who you are. In this case, just these three: your convictions, your optimism, your persistence. You can't relinquish it. It's yours. With that said, let me go to these BAM impact questions. For those of you that never been here, when we end these interviews, I ask the guests 20 questions, 21 questions, depending on their background. Some of them 21, some of them 20. It depends on if they were an administrator or not. And I only read the question and they give me an answer. This is going to be the first time I'm going to read the question. I'm going to give you an answer, right? And this will be the first time, maybe the only time, but here we go. 20 questions. How many I got? 20 questions because I used the wrong list. I should have used the list about being a first-time principal and first-time assistant principal. So I'll try to merge those in. Is education on the right path for underserved children in America? No. Are you optimistic about the educational prospects for the masses of black and brown students in America? No. Can true equity occur in America's schools for black, brown, and other underserved students in America? It can, but probably won't. Does Principal Kafele's work contribute to the progress we desperately need? Yes. If you could do a reset on your life, would your line of work be different or the same? The same. Why do you continue to do this work? I was born to do it. What fires you up within the work that you do? Seeing those light bulbs turn on. What do you love about the work you do? Living my life on my own terms. What do you dislike about the work you do? The travel. What has been your greatest victory in this work? Winning Teacher of the Year. What was your greatest mistake in this work? Leaving Sojourner Truth Middle School in East Orange, New Jersey. What has been your greatest challenge? Taking over the leadership that the state designated as a persistently dangerous school. Who inspires you in this work? Dr. Carter G. Woodson. What are you reading right now? I just bought this. Maulana Karenga, an intellectual portrait by Malefi Asante. So Malefi Asante wrote a book about Karenga, right? I just got it 2 days ago. What book do you recommend for our viewers this afternoon? I'm going to go with The Miseducation of the Negro by Dr. Carter G. Woodson. What do you want to accomplish that you haven't accomplished yet? A TED Talk. Hey, somebody out there, get me a TED Talk. That's the only thing I want to accomplish that I haven't accomplished yet. Are you satisfied with where you are professionally? Never. A lot of times when people say yes, I don't think they get the question. Are you satisfied with where you are professionally? Never satisfied. What can you say to a viewer out there who continues to face closed doors? Thank God the door was closed. It wasn't meant for you to enter. What could you say to a viewer out there who's lost their fire? Lock in to the AP and New Principals Academy and stop playing. And the two that I don't have on this list, are you satisfied with your first year as an AP? No. Are you satisfied with your first year as a principal? No. If Principal Kafele was a word in a dictionary, what would be your definition? One who strives to motivate, educate, and empower others, period. That's my answers to those questions that I've asked approximately 150 people, right? So, hey, y'all, I'm going to be vain on this one. If today's session was worth your while, if it resonated with you, if it was useful, if it added value to your work, if it was just good listening, give me those emojis, y'all. Give me those emojis. Let me know. That's my data. That's my feedback. If y'all don't give me them emojis, that means it was terrible, right? So give me them emojis if it was worth your while I'm rocking my New York stuff, New York Mets. I don't have no Knicks gear, so I said, let me wear some Mets gear. They wear the same color, right? So I'm rocking New York. I think I'm gonna rock New York all week, though. I even might put on some Yankees and make somebody mad. You can't wear Yankees and Mets at the same time. Yeah, when you ain't a fan of either one of them, you can't. So I see them emojis, y'all. I appreciate it. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. I ain't no Mets fan or Yankee fan. I'm Negro Leagues, man. I'm not a baseball guy. I'm just a Negro Leagues guy. But that speaks to history, not my love of baseball. I see them emojis, y'all. Thank you. So I wasn't gonna do this, but I'm gonna do it since y'all giving me these emojis. I guess I did pretty well. I hit that grand slam 4 times at bat. Hit it out the park each time, so I can use my Louisville slugger. As a matter of fact, I used 2 bats today, right? So then I got my other slugger, and I hit it out the park, right? I tried, man. Pray for me, y'all. I'm just trying to do God's work. That's all I'm trying to do. Listen, y'all, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Let me close out before you leave. I appreciate you. I mean, hey, Vincent, I'm a quasi Mets fan. You know, when someone knows the history of why Black people gravitated to the National League, after Jackie Robinson debuted in the National League, then, I'm Mets for that reason. And I think that in this current generation, people don't know that. They don't understand that history, that when Jackie, and I'll give it to you, y'all, since y'all here in large numbers still, when Jackie Robinson came into the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947, Black people gravitated to the National League because he played in the National League. Now, Larry Doby, who played for the Newark Eagles, went to the Cleveland Indians and soon after, in 1947, soon after. However, it's an American League team, but he wasn't the first, right? And he didn't have the popularity that Jackie Robinson has. So the Black community, largely in this area where I am in Jersey, in New York, but also throughout the nation, Black folks gravitated to the National League. So when I hear people, matter of fact, I'm gonna say the name. He can't sue me for this. When I hear a Stephen A. Smith say that his father was a strong Yankees fan, because Stephen A. Smith is not much younger than me. He's in his 50s, but he's not much younger. But when I hear him say all the time his father was a strong Yankees fan, and it always puzzled me until I found out that Stephen A. Smith's roots are in the U.S. Virgin Islands, right? So he wasn't here. His father was in the U.S. Virgin Islands. I'm going to assume, because that's where his roots are. So then it made it make sense for me, because he's not looking at it through the lens of, say, someone who's indigenous to African Americans as far as by way of slavery. So, but Black folks wasn't loving no Yankees. Let me tell you that. In the 1940s, I'm gonna tell you that right now. I can stand on that. The 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, not until they started integrating. Wasn't no Black folks loving no Yankees back in that time. It was the Mets, it was the National League teams, because of Jackie Robinson. So I gave y'all a little bit of history too, and Dr. Starling's been agreeing with everything I said, so that means I must be right. Because if I wasn't, he'll let me know, right? So hey, y'all, next week, join me for week 211. In fact, first, let me thank you for this week. Thanks for being here. I know I went a little long for a solo session. Usually the solo was like 90 minutes, but y'all know this 4 years, man. It's big, man. Let me say this to you. Y'all still here. This 4-year anniversary Let me talk to you on a personal level, because I've been talking to y'all on a collective level. Let me talk to you on a personal level. This is big for me personally, to have singularly stayed committed to something for 4 years, through all 4 seasons, during vacations, when I'm speaking somewhere on the road, but still do like last week I spoke at Bowie State University in Maryland. But I did the broadcast first at a hotel. Then I raced over to the university and did the keynote address, and that was one of my favorite keynotes, maybe of all time, I might add. That was the right audience, right? That's all. I'm gonna leave it right there. They was on fire, man. So they gave me a lot of love in that place. And then they had like 25 AP New Principal Academy people in the audience. I should say fam, AP New Principal Academy fam in the audience. So we took that pic, and then I did that sermon that I do with the fam. So if you want to see that, just go to my YouTube channel, AP and New Principals Academy, and scroll down to where it says AP and New Principals Academy on location. And you'll see me talking to the Bowie people, man. Ooh, I love that, man. I was sweating like a dog, and everybody had their cameras out, man. So we got the, like, it's, short, like 2-3 minutes, something like that. So thanks everybody. If this is new for you, don't let this be your last time. But the only difference is I don't do these solo sessions anymore. I only do these once in a while. We have on guests. So next week I got a superstar coming on. I got Columbia University professor and author Dr. Yolanda Sealy Ruiz. Some of you may know her, best friend of Dr. Goldie Muhammad. So now her buddy Goldie was already on. Now Yolanda will be on. So that's Dr. Yolanda Sealy Ruiz, Columbia University professor and author. Next week, 10:55, we going one-on-one, just me and her, going one-on-one next week. So you don't want to miss that. Her strong point is English, and she's gonna be dropping some nuggets on y'all. And I see you, Keena. Good to see you, my brother. So we be here for us next Saturday, 10 o'clock, Facebook Live, Sean Hurt, followed by Create and Educate with Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor at 10:30, myself at 10:55. We call that Super Saturday morning. And then we'll have Josh Tovar be back soon with whatever he's calling that, and that'll be on Sundays, and then we'll go back to the Fantastic Four. School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele. Join me July 9 and 10. I'll be in Houston live and in person. This is not me coming to somebody's conference or somebody's school or somebody's district. This is me. This is my thing. July 9 and 10. Join me in Houston. We talking leadership for 2 full days. Go to principalkafele.com. Scroll down to announcements, click the registration button, and I'll see you in Houston. Look forward to seeing you in Houston, July 9 and 10. But then the next week, if you don't live in Houston, come on back to Houston for the Black Educators Rock Conference, July 18 through 21. I'll be there the 20th and the 21st. I'll be doing a leadership session all day the 21st. That's on a Sunday. So come join me for all of that. You know my books. I don't have to show them. No, I do. It's new people on here. The AP and the Assistant Principal 50. If you don't have it, what are you waiting for? Go to Amazon. Get yourself a copy. The Assistant Principal Identity. The Principal 50. The Aspiring Principal 50. Here's My School, A Better School Because I Lead It. These are all my leadership books, but since I still got numbers on here, man, there's a lot of y'all on here. Goodness gracious. Closing the Attitude Gap. Motivating Black males to achieve in school and life. The Teacher 50, Critical Questions for Inspiring Classroom Excellence, and the Equity in Social Justice Education. Critical Questions for Improving Opportunities and Outcomes for Black Students. These are all my ASCD books. And then, as you know, as many of you know, I am in the process of writing a book called What is My Value? To the teachers that I supervise instructionally. I'm writing that right now. I took the entire month off except for May 17. I'll be in Houston at this program, the Texas Black Expo. I'll be moderating a panel of superintendents, and then I'll be moderating a panel of college presidents. So I'll be there, and then Shannon Sharp will do the keynote for the luncheon. So that's the only thing I accepted for May because that was big. Other than that, I'm not doing anything. I'm just writing my book. And I should also tell you, I wrote a book called The Assistant Principal Impact, and it's sitting right on this computer, but I haven't released it to my publisher. So so in other words, I got a book that's written, it's been sitting on the computer for almost, I don't know, maybe a year. I don't know. It's been sitting there for quite a while. I'll release it at some point, but right now I wanted to put this new book ahead of it. What is my value to the teachers that I supervise instructionally? So that'll be a while yet. I'm still writing it. Last week, I wrote about 15,000 words last week. The goal was 25,000 words, but it ain't going to be 25,000 because I'm only in the third chapter and I'm at 15,000 words. And it's a 12 chapter book. So I called the publisher. I said, scratch that 25,000 words in the contract. It ain't going to happen. It's going to be at least 50,000 words. So it'll be a little thicker than I thought because I didn't know all these ideas. You know, when you start writing, man. Now, I ain't going on Club Shay Shay unless he sees fit to bring me on, Vinny. I call him you, Vinny. Dr. Stallings. But we'll be in the building together. Right. So, like, let me holler at somebody. Sometimes you think you don't have something in you, but you gotta get to the computer with the intent of writing. And once you start writing, this stuff starts flowing that you didn't know you had. So I did an introduction. I did chapter 1 and 2. And with that intro, all the stuff that's in my intro, I didn't know I had. All that stuff that's in chapter 1, I did not know I had. I wrote an outline. The outline was 3,000 words alone, just the outline. Because that's how I write my books. I write an outline that takes me about 2 months to really complete the outline. And then the book is just filling in the blanks. That's all it is, filling in the blanks. But as I was filling in the blanks with the intro, I'm like, man, where's all this stuff coming from? So then when I got to chapter 1, I'm like, all right, I'm going to just fill in the blanks. But then all this content was coming that I don't typically talk about. I'm like, man, God using me on this. So I just I'm just following instruction. I'm just writing. Like, really, I'm typing, right? So I'm typing. Like, thank you, God. I don't know where this is coming from, but thank you. So then I got to chapter 2 the other day, and I was like, all right, here we go. And I always pray before I start typing, right? Then I start typing. I said, oh my God, where is this coming from? So I just kept going. So, and I expect, here's that word, expect the same thing when I do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and the appendix, right? Because I got a nice appendix. So this is gonna be kind of big. This book, this will probably be the biggest one I've ever written. But y'all be on the lookout for it. Yeah, God working through me. I see you, Jean. Good to see you too. Jean, check out Jean Broyles too. She's doing big work in this education space. Go to her Facebook page and see how you get in touch with her, how you connect with her. I should say, not get in touch with her, but connect with her and see the work she's doing. But other than that, y'all, I appreciate you. Subscribe to the AP and New Principals Academy YouTube channel. Like and follow the AP and New Principals Academy Facebook page. Visit principalcafele.com for my additional resources. And then lastly, your diet, your exercise, and your COVID-19 precautions, right? I was talking to those of you who were on with me earlier when I was telling you about my trauma at the ophthalmologist yesterday. I'm gonna give you this too, because y'all still here. I don't understand why the numbers keep increasing and I'm getting ready to go off, right? We got like 556 people in real time right now between the 3 platforms. I find that incredible. What at 2.5 hours later, right? But I ain't complaining. But here's the thing. When they started looking in my eyes the last time, and I'm sharing this with you not because of me, I'm sharing it for you. They said, we're looking at your eyes this time because we want to monitor your diabetes. We want to see if there's any diabetes, anything in your eyes that we should be concerned about. I ain't even know diabetes goes to your eyes. Like I don't know anything about that. So they checked my eyes. They said we don't see anything. Right? They said so. Keep up the good work. You could bring your A1C down a little bit more, right? But keep up the good work. So I'm saying that to say this to somebody out there who's not eating right, whose A1C is off the charts, or you got diabetes, but you don't care, and you're relying on medication, and you're eating all the wrong stuff. You got all the sugar in you and all that kind of stuff. As I learned yesterday, that stuff even is in your eyes, right? So that was a wake up call for me. That I got to make sure that I'm taking care of myself even better than I am, right? So I'm gonna just take that and pass that on to you, and to say make sure you're taking care of you, right? Because we could talk all this leadership. We did 418 hours. This was 2-3 more. What time we came on? 11, 12, 1, 2. So it's almost 2 o'clock. So that's 421 hours now. You could be taking care of yourself. I mean, not taking care of yourself, but you're going hard on the leadership. And now, next thing you know, you're not available. Not because you're not talented, not because you're not skilled, but because you didn't take care of your temple. And now you're not available, right? For whatever the reason, right? So I'm saying to you, make sure that diet, exercise, and disease, virus precautions are a part of your leadership repertoire. because they matter as well. With that being said, I'm out. So have a great week. Have an extraordinary week. Have your best week yet. Peace. Peace. Thumbs up. Cock that fist back. Count to 3 with me. 1, 2, 3. Bam! I hope I never punch this camera one day. Y'all have a great week. Have a strong week. And I'll see you for week 211 next Saturday.